Easy College Football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. You are looking live at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. For the Big Ten, conference play is a welcome sight. And we open with a good one. Ohio State in its first conference game under Urban Meyer against Michigan State. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. With Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. And Herbie, a beautiful Saturday afternoon. What a way to start conference play.
And I think for both of these teams, they're very excited to get into conference play. Michigan State had a mishap in a game that we were here for against Notre Dame. And I think they're excited to get into a game where the stadium's going to be alive. And the same can be said for Ohio State. They're not eligible for the postseason, but it's Urban Meyer's first year, and they're trying to show everybody that Urban Meyer's going to take this program back to where Jim Tressel had them.
Now, a lot of our folks have watched Braxton Miller, the all-purpose Ohio State quarterback. Some of you may not have seen him, but he is a good one.
Well, I think he might be one of the most dynamic playmakers right now in college football. And because he has his hands on the ball every snap, Urban Meyer, with his system, has figured out ways to be able to capitalize on his playmaking skills. If you're Michigan State, you've got to come after him. They call it attack mode. They're going to pin their ears back, try to do everything they can to take away his big playability. Michigan State calls it the loose plays. When he creates, they have to limit those to have a chance of slowing down the Ohio State offense.
And for you and me, one of our favorite stories, Le'Veon Bell, the hard-working running back, is from Columbus, Ohio, and here he is wearing the green and white of Michigan State.
Yeah, he got a little payback last year when these two teams collided in Columbus, and I think he's even more excited to have a chance to play him. He's getting a lot of national attention. The guy is a workhorse. He's carrying the ball up to 40 times a game. It's going to take a heroic effort by him, and also the young quarterback Andrew Maxwell from Michigan State. They got to make plays in the passing game, and these receivers from Michigan State are going to have to make plays to take some of the pressure off of Bell today.
Herbie, let's go down to the third member of the team, Heather Cox, down below. Heather.
Hey, Brent, as you know, the Spartans started the season with extremely high expectations. Then came that loss to Notre Dame and a poor first-half performance at home, and the fans started booing, prompting Chris McDonald to say, if that doesn't give you a chip on your shoulder, I don't know what will. So Coach D'Antonio this week has insulated his players, banning them from talking to the local media to do as he hopes to bring his team closer, bring them all together. And Brent, his message to his players today, players make plays, plays don't make players. Lose yourself to your team.
And Heather, Michigan State won the coin toss, and they will defer. So we'll see Braxton Miller and the Buckeyes with the ball here first. Conference play is underway at East Lansing, and the ball will be coming out on the 25-yard line. So here is the 6'2", 220-pound sophomore from Hubert Heights, Ohio, Braxton Miller.
You know what? Looking at him this week at practicing on the field before the game, I don't know if people really get a feel for how big, how thick and sturdy he is. He's essentially a tailback back there playing quarterback, where Denard Robinson's like a receiver with his ability to make people miss. Braxton Miller has that, but he can also break tackles. Michigan State's going to have to do a really good job of containing him and not letting him make the big plays.
Pistol look with Jordan Hall, just offset a little bit, and their play action, and there's Braxton's running ability that Herbie referred to on the first play of the game. He is pushed out of bounds at the 45-yard line, a 20-yard gain.
He's reading Marcus Rush, who comes down. You see just enough hesitation by Rush. He comes down on the fake. That's an option read. The first play of the game by Braxton Miller. He felt that Rush committed down to the back. He pulled it out, and there's the quickness around the edge.
So operating without the huddle. Miller up to set for the lineman, and take a look here as how he claps his hands. Now the center takes over, and Herbie's going to get in and tell you that story as they run Jordan Hall on first down. Herbie, it is interesting to me because when I first saw this many years ago with Urban Meyer, I thought at a noisy stadium, how does anybody hear that?
It's a good point, and the Ohio State assistant coaches talked about it as well. They're anxious to see how it was going to work, but Tebow did it all those years. Braxton Miller will do it in a hostile environment. You'll notice the center does not look through his legs to see a leg lift or to hear the snap. He's looking around, then he'll actually say a cadence for the offensive lineman to respond to.
Corey Lindsley is the Buckeye center. Miller eludes traffic. Bulla chasing on the other side, and the Spartans are able to get him out of bounds. Max Bulla was one of the defenders.
This time he actually misreads the lineman. You see, the defensive lineman did not come down as much, and because of that, a little bit he had to hesitate himself that time to pull the ball to the outside. If he gives that play up to middle, makes the right read, they're probably able to pick up the first down.
William Golston was given chase on that too, Herbie, the 6'6" defensive end, number 2, and you'll see a lot of him here today as we look at 3rd and 6 for the Buckeyes. Big passing opportunity for Braxton. Fires, got the first down, and that is Philly Brown. Corey, his real name, but because we have a Corey Brown on defense who is from the Pittsburgh area, and this Corey is from Upper Darby, they call him Philly. He told the SID this week that he preferred to be called Corey, so why don't we just make it Eagle Brown and Steeler Brown?
There you go. There you go. And he's a big Eagles fan. Boy, did a really good job of sitting there on 3rd down in the soft part of the zone, and Braxton Miller find him. Plenty of time to throw the ball that time for Miller. Comes the blitz up top. Boom.
And he kept it beautifully. He's a fine ball handler. I think you've just seen an example, and there's a flag over there, and Isaiah Lewis was involved in this play, and let's see what happens. This Big Ten officiating crew. Referee is John O'Neill.
Here comes the blitz from the backside. He blows up the runner, but look at the ability to create. This we talked about. Michigan State had to contain, and at the end of the play, I don't think that was a malicious effort by Lewis. I think he got tangled up with him after he was out of bounds.
The look at it, though, on the field, Herbie, if you think of the official's view of this, you can see where the contact is in the leg as he goes out of bounds over there. I'm not so. Remember how fast this is now, and you can see how far out of bounds he is.
I think the fact he wrapped him up around the knees and around the legs is why they made the call.
And you know, you want to defend players like this when they get over there. It's kind of a short distance between the sideline and the wall here, and so Kenny Guyton has to come on as Braxton Miller, and we sure hope he's okay. Kenny Guyton comes on here to run the Buckeye offense, and this is Jordan Hall. 5 and first down. It'll be a 1st and goal, obviously, with Heather Cox down below, and we'll keep an eye on that sideline. It looks like he's okay, and that's a good sign there as he gets back up, and he's with Urban Meyer. It looks like he's ready to come right back in.
He wants to get back in the game. Yeah. Urban Meyer has a lot of confidence in Kenny Guyton, and they're going tempo here.
And so here they come, and the big green front is able to stop Jordan Hall. Jordan Hall from Jeanette, Pennsylvania.
Urban has, in fact, bragged about Kenny Guyton and his effort, his understanding of this offense all throughout camp and into the early part of this season.
And it's clear that Urban wants Kenny Guyton to stay in. And over the top for the touchdown, Jordan Hall. A great leap into the end zone that time.
Well, they didn't slow down. You can see all this talk with Urban Meyer about Kenny Guyton. He backed it up. He gets a chance. This offense did not slow down in the 3 plays that Kenny Guyton stepped in there. A couple big runs to the outside by Hall, and then he takes it up and into the end zone. Ohio State on the road. That's exactly what they wanted to see happen, asserting themselves here on the road. After looking sluggish the last couple weeks, that's a good start for Ohio State.
This is Drew Basil, and he adds the extra point. And so on the first series, using 2 quarterbacks, the Buckeyes move smartly down the field. A very, very impressive drive. Remember, the Spartan defense dominated a year ago, but not on that last drive.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, we welcome you back to Spartan Stadium, where the Ohio State Buckeyes received the opening kickoff, and they just made mincemeat of a defense that throttled them a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, you and I looked at that film this week, and it was a mismatch up front where Michigan State went after a very vanilla, predictable offense. A year later, Urban Meyer's system in, Braxton Miller with more experience, better up front. One drive in, Ohio State obviously has a different look to their attack this year.
Basil Likes to get this one down right about the goal line, and Hill will bring it out. Hill, fine return. Out to the 32-yard line, and now the young man who will be the focal point here today. Number 10, 6'3", 212-pound junior from Midland, Michigan, Andrew Maxwell.
And I really like him. I think he's got a strong arm. I know that right now he's not been able to get this offense going as far as the balance. It's been Le'Veon Bell for the most part. But his receivers have not made catches for him. The offensive line hasn't been great in pass pro. He needs to get off to a good start here to get his confidence established and get this offense going.
And that's Bell directly behind him. Couple of tight ends on this opening series. Going to run to the right and nothing doing, and that is big Jonathan Hankins, who makes a first strong play. A lot of scouts here to watch him, Herbie, as we take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, for Michigan State, it starts with Le'Veon Bell's ability to run the football and establish that. Deion Sims is their best receiver, the big tight end, who's 285 pounds. And on defense, we talked about Max Bulla in the middle. Chris Norman, number 10, also a big role today in trying to be able to contain and slow down Braxton Miller.
Now, Hankins wears number 52. He would be your left defensive tackle if he could get a push. Maxwell rolls, fires to the sideline, a fine completion. Working the sideline with Mumphrey. So that is one thing that draws a big ovation from the crowd as a receiver hangs on, Herbie.
That's right. They've had a few drops here the last couple of weeks. Ball is thrown away from the defender, out of bounds, right on the side. They might take another peek at that, but the fact that Mumphrey is able to secure the football, important. And also, Michigan State's coaches said, we want to find plays that can get him and his receivers into a rhythm early in the game.
Here's a formation we didn't see. The screen set up with Bell to the left, the bunch. Spartans did not show this formation against the Irish, and they tack on about 12 yards on this play, Herbie. It was quickly set up by the Spartan offense.
You got three wide receivers in front of Bell, who has soft hands like a receiver, and when any way you can get the football in his hands without having him dot the I, it's a good thing. He can catch the ball. He's got blockers in front of him. He's your best playmaker. Get him the football. Nice little wrinkle here from the Spartan staff on this opening drive.
Now they come with the power I look on this first down at the Buckeye 33-yard line. Goes deep, end zone, overthrew his man, and it was almost intercepted. Buckeyes had a shot at that one in the end zone. Lippett was the intended receiver, and Travis Howard was back there. He might have been very close to an interception. Let's take a look, Herbie.
Lippett is a former corner who was moved over to receiver, and I think he referred back to his corner days. He actually made a good play on the ball to keep it away from Travis Howard, coming up with his fourth interception on the year. And I think that time young Maxwell was fooled. Ohio State disguised their coverage, moved after the snap, and I think he didn't expect to see Howard back there waiting on that football.
And it leaves the Spartans with a 2nd and 10, but they're going to keep it airborne. Drop it to Bell. Bell to the 20-yard line, and another Michigan State first down. So Shazer makes the play.
Brent, a little slip screen here where he's just going to go right around Nathan Williams, the defensive end. He just slides right out there. He's got a couple of linemen. He's trying to wait for Dan France, the left tackle, to get out there. But twice now, they're doing different things to get the ball to Le'Veon Bell. Instead of just running him, lined up out wide as a receiver. That time slipped him out on a quick screen. Two nice calls to get first downs.
So they're keeping this Buckeye defense off balance here with a variety of looks. But they're keeping the ball in Bell's hands on the swing pass to the 15-yard line. Howard makes the play defensively.
You got to keep reminding yourself at home. This young man was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. Had an offer from Bowling Green and thought he might go there. He has emerged to become one of the best power backs in the country through hard work, through dedication, through using games like this as motivation to get ready. He has soft hands for a 245-pound running back coming out of the backfield.
Lawrence Thomas on the field, comes in motion behind. He'll lead Bell on this play, and the Buckeyes read it perfectly. as they throw Bell for a loss. And it will be a 3rd down and about 7 yards to go. And all the Buckeyes did was follow Thomas on that play.
Brent, don't you almost feel watching Michigan State on this drive, even though they're known as a power running team, they're having success by spreading Ohio State out with their formations and then trying to find different ways to get the ball to Bell, eventually Deion Sims and some of their receivers. But lining up in an I and running into Jonathan Hankins and those linebackers might not be a good idea.
Yeah, you know, Herbie, that last play we saw and the opening play of this drive, those are the 2 times they ran to darkness.
Right.
Otherwise, you're exactly right. They have spread the field as they do right here again. And in trouble's Maxwell. Running to his right, has to throw this ball away, which he does, and the field goal unit will trot onto the field.
And this time they just got pressure up front. I'll tell you, seeing Nathan Williams back for Ohio State fans, he's lined up over here to the outside. He's using his quickness to just give Skylar Berkland all he can handle. You can see John Simon getting healthier. He also gets a push. Rushing 4 and dropping 7 into coverage is a luxury that Ohio State had there.
So here's Dan Conroy, who has missed a field goal in each of the Spartans' 4 games this year. He'll attempt a 35-yarder to put Michigan State on the board. Slides it through. So we expected a low-scoring game. And what happens? Both teams score on their opening drive.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, beer, sports, and Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites.
This is something very unique. The Michigan State School of Packaging. It's the first collegiate packaging school in the world, folks, and more than half of all the packaging graduates employed come from the Michigan State School of Packaging. So one of the things about the School of Packaging, if you get a degree in that here in East Lansing, you're going to get a job. So here's the kickoff by the Spartans, and the Buckeyes will take a knee, and we will go for an update. Here's Robert Flores in the studio. What do you got packaged for us, Robert?
Well, Brent, watch how Miami puts a bow on the end of this game. Taco Bell studio update. Tied at 37 with NC State. Stephen Morris, eluding tacklers, scrambling, eventually finds Philip Dorsett, 62-yard touchdown. And Miami wins 44-37 against the Wolfpack. Brent.
Robert, you get a thumbs up from Miami for the bow on that package.
Very impressive.
Quick on your feet, my friend. And now Braxton Miller is back, and that's a good sight. And here is Corey, or Philly Brown, with the reception. Let's check in with Heather.
Well, guys, since Braxton Miller came off the field, he hasn't received any medical attention. All standard operating procedure. He had his headsets on, getting instructions from his coaches upstairs. And Herbie, something to keep your eye on. Ohio State wide receiver coach Zach Smith just came up to Braxton Miller and Corey Brown and told them, expect a lot of blitzes. They can't play base. So he's thinking that Pat Narduzzi is going to start blitzing this Ohio State offense.
So we'll keep an eye, Heather, with 4 down linemen. Fuller steps into the middle. Fumble, and the Buckeyes recover it. It'll be 3rd and short, and that is Reed Fragel, the right tackle, who fell on that ball. Now, Reed Fragel is a very interesting story, folks, and it has nothing to do with the recovery. Let me tell you this. His father was Tom Izzo's roommate in Northern Michigan. That's right, the legendary basketball coach at Michigan State. And that young man's father were roommates. He was going to go to Michigan, but then they had a coaching change down there. Jim Tressel jumped back in, and the Buckeyes are very happy that Fragel decided on Columbus. It's 3rd down and short. And here comes Braxton Miller keeping it for the 1st down with that wonderful running ability. He's finally belted out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
It's a great block here by the H-back Boren. You're also going to see a seal block here. Watch Boren and also Carlos Hyde coming out of the backfield. Boren gets involved, gets the rush. You see Carlos Hyde, who's back in the lineup wearing that knee brace. Also, you look at the quarterback, Braxton Miller. Essentially, he's the tailback. It's a direct snap to him. They get the numbers to their advantage to the left side, and on 3rd down, they pick up the yardage they need for the 1st.
Herbie, when you told me going into Columbus to practice, which we watched on Thursday, that Braxton Miller is one of the best running backs in the country, you were absolutely right. Here he is looking to pass it now. Did he throw it too far? Incomplete. Devin Smith, the target.
Great call here by Tom Herman and Urban Meyer. They've had a lot of success running the football. They've had some success throwing the ball underneath. Michigan State is an aggressive defense. They'll crowd as many as 9 guys up close to the line of scrimmage with their 2 safeties inverted, up close, up tight. You have to show them something just to let them know it's there, to try to go vertical, to make them be honest and respect that part of your offense. Then you can get back to running the ball.
Make it 2nd down and 10 for the Buckeyes. And now it'll be 3rd down as they barge into the mean green.
This is where Pat Narduzzi, Michigan State's defensive coordinator, wants to try to keep Braxton Miller. They want to be able to win on 1st and 2nd down. And there he is with his shades on upstairs, looking down at the field. Very familiar with the state of Ohio, recruits Northeastern Ohio, knows a lot of these players on the Ohio State roster, but you keep them in 3rd down, and then you try to mix up your looks, but you build it around pressure and trying to contain Miller because he can scramble on 3rd.
You'd have to scramble 8 yards as Hall motions out. So from an empty look and a quick fire, almost intercepted. That was a terrific read in the secondary by R.J. Williamson. He jumped that route and almost had it.
Well, that's exactly what he did. He's just sitting back here. The 1st down line's about here. The route is going to come there, and he does a really good job of understanding that. The blitz is there. He knows the ball has to get out of Braxton Miller's hands quickly, so he knows he's not threatened downfield, so he cheated up and timed that perfectly, almost came up with the interception.
Now, this is a moment that Buckeye fans are holding their breath about. A punt was blocked for a touchdown. Buchanan and the Spartans are content to see what they can do. Hill with a big bounce, fields it and takes a blow. And there come the penalty flags because the Buckeye got up too high when he hit him. Hyde, coming down the field, who'd been injured for a couple of weeks, was the gunner who got down, and he delivers the blow too high. I know that Urban doesn't like it, and he thinks he signaled for a fair catch and that there should be a different call, and Urban's being restrained on the sideline. He's not happy with this at all.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Kicking team, number 34, hit above the shoulder. 15 yards from the end of the kick. Automatic 1st down.
From way up high, Herbie, I thought he did hit him high.
Well, I think he definitely hit him high, and I think that's what they call. You know, he's clearing his hands. He's not indicating anything about a fair catch. And regardless if it's a fair catch or it's not, the hit is high.
Yeah, you can't hit like that.
That's a no-brainer. You got to make that call.
Yeah, there's no question. Good call. We'll continue when you come back. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
What could be the furthest thing?
We welcome you back to Spartan Stadium. What a
here, 5:30. They'll come out for the 25 after the penalty, and they pound behind the left side of the line.
The first drive that Maxwell had was an interesting selection of plays. They moved Le'Veon Bell around here, lined up in front of 3 wide receivers, just spreading the Ohio State defense out, giving Bell some room to be able to make a play. Here he's showing that he's going to pick up the block to defensive end, but instead he slips right by Williams, the defensive end, and picks up another catch and is able to pick up another 1st down. So
lining up just in the I formation, really showing some variations and trying to spread Ohio State out to get the Bell the football.
And Thomas is back in as the lead back for Bell. He clears the way, and Bell is a little bit short of the first down, I believe. Sabino making the stop. Herbie, I have our first hoops final of the new season. West Virginia 70, Baylor 63. Oh, what? That's a football game?
Is it finally over?
70-63. Geno Smith, Herbie, goes 45 of 51 for 656 yards and 8 touchdowns with a quarterback rating of 248. Oh, my goodness.
He had more touchdowns than incompletions. Think about that.
Oh, my goodness. No questions about who's the leader for the Heisman after this weekend with a performance like that. Third down, and Maxwell snaps it off to Paul Lang. He's a redshirt freshman from Pittsburgh, one of many tight ends. And aren't they happy to see these receivers, Herbie, hanging on to the football?
Yeah, it's been a big issue for them. But again, they're spreading this defense out all over the field. It's been a bit of an Achilles heel for Ohio State is giving up receptions with their underneath coverage. Been surprised that Ohio State's not tightening things up against a Michigan State offense that's been struggling in the passing game. Look for that adjustment, for tighten up coverage to not give up those easy throws underneath.
Everybody moved with the football. Thought it was one of those dummy plays where they throw something back and the quarterback's actually got the ball in his hands. Let's check in down below with Heather Cox. Heather.
Brent, I had a chance to talk to Andrew Maxwell right before the game on the field about his receivers and their confidence level after all those drops the last 2 games. Andrew said they've all stayed late after practice each day this week to get those reps, and that Andrew keeps reiterating to them how much he believes in them and how hard they're working in the locker room to keep the spirits high. He assured me he'd keep throwing the ball to his receivers. He's not gun shy today, guys.
And when you watch him in practice, Heather, he's got a very smooth delivery like that right there. And now some confidence is starting to build with him.
And I think that was the goal. It's interesting what Heather is saying, and it takes that from a young quarterback to be able to maintain his confidence in not just the receivers, but the offensive line. The night that you and I and Heather were here a couple weeks ago, the offensive line was almost like a sieve. Every time he dropped back to throw, he wasn't necessarily getting sacked, but he was getting ear-holed by Brent Shimbo every time he threw the ball. And I think you get a little bit of gun shy. It's good to hear he still has the confidence, and that's been on display here early in this game.
He's 6 of 8 to start this game. That's an impressive number for him. And second down, even though he does trail by 4, didn't get the ball in the end zone. Moving the pocket to the left. Firing this time, and almost a beautiful catch. Great defense on that play. Orion Johnson along with Corey Brown, the Steeler Brown, coming up with a play.
Look at the coverage, how tight he is. He's right at the line of scrimmage trying to make him work to get to his spot. He didn't jam him necessarily that well, but he did enough to at least make him work to get downfield. And because he did that, I think it disrupted the rhythm that time between Maxwell and Sims, and it also allowed the safety to come over and disrupt the football.
That was a good-looking pass.
It was. Ball's up. I don't think there's any question about his ability to throw the ball. I think it's about the receivers hold on to the ball and that offensive line doing a better job of giving him time to throw.
And that let's credit the Buckeye defense. That was very well covered. So now on third down, going to throw it underneath, and that's short of the first down, and he'll learn that on third down plays, you've got to get the ball down close to the marker and let your receiver do the rest.
But Nathan
Bell was too far away, Herbie.
Brent, I apologize. How about Nathan Williams, a defensive end? They line him up here at linebacker. Watch his instincts for a defensive end. He's looking up to find out where is Bell. The umpire gets in the way, and he still comes over to be able to recognize that play quick enough to keep Bell short of the first down. Nice play by a defensive end lined up there at middle linebacker.
So it looks like Jordan Hall has come back deep. Or is that Travis Howard? Which one? Who would have gone back deep, Herbie?
It's
for
Jordan
the
Hall.
Buckeyes? Is it Jordan Hall?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are 2 key players today, and Herbie, you asked them to research the percentage of the team's offense.
How about Braxton Miller? 70% of the offense for Ohio State in their first 4 games, and you can see his touchdowns as well, how important it is for him to run and throw. And Le'Veon Bell coming into today's game, they've been building their offense around him. Even in games against lesser opponents where they thought they might be able to grow in the passing game, they've still had to turn to him.
Jordan Hall got the carry, and that play was eaten up by big William Goldston. Oh, my. That's a play that the NFL scouts will run backward and forward.
This is a play also that Braxton Miller has got to do a better job of reading. Watch how long he's on the ride with the back. He's trying to make a determination if the defense of Van Golston is going to take him or the running back. You can see the hesitation. He wanted to pull the ball out at the last second on his option read, but couldn't get it back from Hall. They got a little jam there at the mesh point, but give William Golston all the credit. You can see he's pretty fired up today.
Well, why not? Hankins, his counterpart, went to the same high school as he did. They got a little bit of a duel. Who could get to the quarterback the most? And this time, nobody's getting to Braxton, and he scampers very close to a first down. What a dandy run by number 5.
You know, when you and Bobby Knight do hoops, he'd be very proud of this crossover dribble here on Isaiah Lewis in the open field. Isn't he? Right there. Open field, a really, really good safety, very aggressive. Golston trying to get around Newhart, unable to, but that gives you an idea of what Braxton Miller can do out in the open field against a veteran Michigan State defense.
Speaking of the old ball coach, he called me from his new home in Bozeman.
How's he doing?
Completed. He was fishing. Said to say hello to you. Third down and 3. Fires it over the middle. That's going to be short of the first down. That was Corey Brown. And he's not going to get there, and the Buckeyes are going to be forced to punt. So the Spartans come up with a couple of pretty good plays here, and that was one of them.
Well, even though Braxton Miller picked up big yards on that second down scramble, at least they didn't allow him to get the first down. And then on third down, just a lot of traffic in the way of Philly Brown, and he wasn't able to have any room after he made that catch. And again, give Michigan State the credit. They needed to make the play on third down.
You saw Nick Hill back there returning the punt. He did not return punts against Eastern Michigan last week. Bell did. And now he fields the punt, which is what they want him to do, and gets up to the 37-yard line. The end of the first quarter. Conference play in the Big Ten underway. This presentation of ABC College Football, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC station. Well, young Andrew Maxwell started out 7 of 10, and his Spartans with the football trail the Ohio State Buckeyes 7-3. Ohio State scored on the first drive of the game, and here is Maxwell behind his center Travis Jackson. And it's a good duel up front in this game so far as they set the screen. Here is Bell. That's his 5th reception, I believe, of the game, and he's to the 44. Let's go to Robert Flores for an update. Robert?
Yeah, Brent, good duel in the SEC as we go Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. Number 5, Georgia taking on Tennessee. They have a 7-0 lead until Byron Moore has the pick 6 against Aaron Murray. Bulldogs had a touchdown. Vols answered with a field goal. They're down 14-10 in Athens.
Now, Robert, we'll see the Bulldogs next week, Herbie. You and I will be looking forward to Columbia, South Carolina, in that Georgia-South Carolina game. But the Dogs better beware. Tennessee thinking upset today. Downfield, Maxwell going to go long and incomplete. And that was terrific coverage by Travis Howard. Working down the sideline that time on Benny Fowler.
I think we may have an offensive lineman downfield here, but I want you to watch Howard when he turns to look for the football. He's running with him. Now he's just watching the eyes of Fowler. He responds to the receiver. When the eyes and the hands start to go up, that's what tells him he needs to turn and look for the football. But he had to be in good position before he can look for that football. But the ball was overthrown. But good coverage and good positioning. But Michigan State had a lineman downfield.
Offense number 70. That penalties declined. Third down.
Travis Howard currently leads the Big Ten, and he's tied for 6th in the FBS in interceptions this week. And a week ago against UAB, he made 8 tackles. He's now got 3 interceptions on the season, and one of those picks for Travis Howard came against Central Florida. And Central Florida gave Missouri all they could handle today before Mizzou won that game. So you're looking at a fine defensive back there for the Buckeyes. It is 3rd down and 3. Incomplete, and again good coverage. That was Bradley Roby. Now Roby has been nicked up, and he did not play last week because of a shoulder injury.
can see that underneath here you have receivers crossing, and what they're trying to do is create the tight end Sims, see him coming underneath. The umpire's involved. They're just trying to create a little bit of a mesh point there for one of the receivers to break free. Coverage was very tight. I mean, as soon as that football is in there, you could see how quickly Roby was there to try to knock it away.
So Mike Sandler will punt it, and Corey Brown will be back, and he'll let this one go into the end zone where it will come out on the 20-yard line. So both teams score on their first drive, and then we settle in to the defensive battle that we expected between these two Big Ten teams.
There he goes, and they go ahead. There they go. What a rock. 88 yards. What a game. First and goal for the Buckeyes. They did not get in. What a goal line stand. This is unbelievable.
That, of course, the voice of Chris Schenkel. Duffy Doherty was his analyst on that day. And what you don't remember is that was the only college football game broadcast on that Saturday afternoon. That's right. That's how it was back in the 70s. And Hyde, who has checked in, can do nothing as Marcus Rush, the other of the fine defensive ends for the Spartans, number 44, makes the play.
Maybe a little bit of a mix-up here. Michigan State brings a blitz. Look at the speed of Rush on the outside. He's a sophomore out of Cincinnati. We talked about him a couple weeks ago out of Cincinnati Moeller, 6'2", 250 pounds. William Golston, too, gets most of the attention, but Rush plays with a lot of speed.
Now, let me correct myself over here. Carlos Hyde's on the field, but Braxton actually kept the ball on that play. So now we've got second down and 10. And here comes Braxton keeping it again. And Herbie, one of the things we notice with Urban Meyer's read option and the offense that he uses, it is a work in progress for Braxton Miller.
Yeah, I think he's still growing with his reads. I mean, just in the opening few drives, he's not necessarily always making the right read on the read option, but a lot of times he's so quick that even when he misreads it, when he keeps the football, he makes the man that he was supposed to read to give the ball, sometimes he'll make him miss because he has the ability to overcome it, but it's definitely a work in progress at this point.
Third down and 6. And what you don't notice, but you will in the years ahead, is the jet sweep. The Percy Harvin, if you will, coming through the formation. Braxton keeps it, fires complete. Down the sideline, that will be a first down at the 40-yard line to Corey or Philly or Eagle Brown.
Well, how about keeping the play alive here by Braxton Miller? Michigan State notorious for the blitz. Bulla gets through, flushes him to his left. A great job of keeping his eyes downfield. You want to talk about poise? Nice job of locating Brown. Good location by the football and outstanding concentration by Brown to get the toe down inbounds for the first down. To take another look at that one. The right toe looked like when he came down, looks like it's in, but it's worth another look.
The replay official upstairs is a good one. It's the veteran Jim Augustine in the booth right next to us. And remember, it was the Big Ten who brought in instant replay into the college game. And it appears to be a sliver of green there, would you say, lad?
It looks like it. It's one of those, you can see the Michigan State assistant coaches and players trying to help out. But that was a good example of where Braxton Miller is. People, I think, have been critical of him in his passing game.
Review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. A catch at the sideline, first down.
That's a good effort by Brown there to get his toes down. But they've been very critical. They love him as an athlete, but not really quite sold on him as a passer. If you watch this, and I've watched him throw the ball since he was at Wayne High School out of Dayton, Ohio as a 14-year-old, there's no question about his arm strength. It's just a matter of being more consistent with his decision-making, getting his feet in tune with his throwing motion, but he can make plays throwing the football.
Carlos Hyde remains behind him. He missed 2 games with the knee injury. Now he's got the option with Hyde, keeps it on a sharp cut. Picks up about 8 yards, and Bulla, the fine Mike, the middle linebacker, makes the stop for the Spartans.
The Michigan State defense, they are just coming after Braxton Miller. We get a little, if we got a player down there, we got a couple players piled up, 2 Michigan State players, and also looks like Braxton Miller underneath him.
So is the player who's on top out?
William Golston.
That's Golston. It looks like it looks like he might have been knocked out here. Motionless on top of Braxton.
And it looked like at the end of the play, you saw safety come in there late. It may have been Isaiah Lewis coming from the left, coming in hard, trying to make a play, and he goes right into Golston.
And that appears to be exactly now. Watch Lewis right here.
Boom. Right
Caught
there.
him right in the upper portion of the helmet, and you could see the neck.
Yeah. And Brent, he was
Whiplash.
going full speed. You can't really tell by that replay. I mean, he was going as fast as he could coming in to take Braxton Miller out.
Now Golston's moving, which is a very good scene, but I think for a time being, he might have been knocked unconscious.
Yeah, his arms were over top of Braxton Miller. Really good job by Braxton Miller showing sportsmanship and just not moving, realizing that William Golston was in some trouble, and players are taught if a player's on top of you, just lay there and let the officials eventually get to you is what they're able to do. But
so they'll come and test him for a concussion over here on the side after that blow.
Great to see that he is up and walking off this field. But Pat Narduzzi is leaving nothing behind. They are pinning their ears back, living up to their stereotype and characteristic of their defense, blitzing Braxton Miller. Their answer to his athletic ability and creativity, blitz him. And that's what they've done up to this point.
So it is second down for Braxton and the defense. Throwing wide open on the side to Devin Smith for a first down. Devin to the 35-yard line on the second effort burst.
I really feel like he's in rhythm the most with both Corey Brown and Devin Smith. This ball is the backside fade that he scored a touchdown against Cal on. You can see the ball is out before Devin Smith even turned around. He's efforting there to try to pick up more yards. But Braxton Miller that time gets back, sees soft coverage to the top, and makes a quick throw.
Calhoun has replaced Golston in that defensive front. And they snap it out to Brown again. And he is to the 32-yard line.
Time he's seeing soft coverage. A lot of times Ohio State will tag a run-throw play together. And I think an area where Braxton Miller is growing for Urban Meyer and Tom Herman is recognizing coverages, making adjustments at the line of scrimmage, and taking those quick throws when they're there.
So Braxton Miller is 7 of 8. Facing a 2nd and 6. Jordan Hall back on the field. There's that read option. And Miller twists and turns and battles his way to that first down marker before Reynolds could bring him down.
That spin move isn't just something that, once in a while Braxton Miller might do. I mean, even the Michigan State coaches talk to us about, hey, we know he's got speed. We know about his spin move. I mean, they talk about it like this is part of his repertoire. He doesn't just go to it once in a while. He goes to it. And they tried to prep their linebackers and safeties as they came in to make plays to be ready to deal with that spin move to help with their leverage and how they tackle him.
And Braxton Miller has rushed for 73 yards. Now comes back and it's intercepted. Picked off by Drummond. Threw into the teeth of the coverage on the left side, and Drummond with the game's first turnover.
Brent, I don't think Braxton Miller ever saw him coming in from over here to the side. He came from the backside. Braxton Miller's been looking play side the last 3 or 4 snaps. You get a really good look at it right there. Curtis Drummond coming over from the left. Braxton Miller didn't see him. The really good hand-eye coordination by Drummond to be able to make that catch and a turnover for Michigan State.
So an opportunity for the Spartans with 10 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Timeout.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Chevy. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep. And Fidelity Investments. Innovative ideas for serious investors.
Some very good tailgating around here in East Lansing. Inside their team with a first down and 10 coming out for the 17. That interception came on a first down play by the Buckeyes. And here comes Bell for a couple of yards, and we go down below. Heather Cox, what's the situation with the defensive end of the Spartans?
Well, good news for William Golston. He was motionless on the field because he got the wind knocked out of him and was having trouble breathing. He didn't lose consciousness at any time. The athletic training staff has tested his neck strength, made sure he's able to breathe without any difficulty, and he has been cleared to return to play.
And that was some play. Now we've got another player injured, and that's Travis Jackson, I believe, the fine Spartan center, as we take a look here at the Pacific Life game summary. And what the Spartans have shown us, of course, they've gone against the grain here a little bit, Irving.
Yeah, they sure have. Braxton Miller's been able to make some completions. Poor decision there to give Michigan State the ball back, but off to a pretty good start also running the ball. Bell, you see, he's only run 5 times, but he has 42 receptions and 5 receptions, 42 yards and 5 receptions. And Michigan State has come into this game known as a power running team, but in 18 snaps, they have 13 pass plays. And I think part of that is just to try to take some of the pressure off of Bell.
So number 68, Ethan Rulin, has been practicing snaps. He'll replace Jackson. A tough loss for Michigan State. Travis Jackson from New Albany, Ohio, taken off on a cart, and it's hand-to-hand combat down there in the pit area, and he suffered an injury that could keep him out for the rest of the day. Ethan Rulin checks in his hometown, Lake Orion, Michigan, and he's got his hands full against the middle of that Buckeye front. And that is Caper, Larry Caper, the ball carrier.
23.
John Simon, the outstanding defensive lineman of Ohio State, in there defensively.
Have to keep an eye on the battle now with Rulin coming in there. Ohio State's defensive line came in very motivated to play well in their first conference game. They've been a little inconsistent and erratic coming into this game. They've had a lot of injuries to deal with. But, you know, Michigan State, when they get into that I formation, a battle up front with Hankins and Goebel, see how they do with a new center in the lineup when it comes to combination blocks and those linemen trying to get up to the linebackers of the Buckeyes.
Hankins goes about 330. And he'll get down right over the nose this time, and Maxwell to throw it out quickly, and it's right at the mark. Mumphrey the target there, but the spot, that'll determine it, and the line judge is going to give it to him, I believe, if our mark is accurate. And it's ruled a first down.
And I mean, they're right there, but if this offense continues to grow, remember, these are young receivers. They lost 95% of their receiving yards. Take that route up another 2 or 3 yards, because you know you're going to get hit as soon as you make that catch. And at least he held on to the ball. That's step one. But take the route on 3rd down just another yard or 2, so as soon as you catch the ball, you get hit for progression, and it's a first down.
Andrew Maxwell. Coming back with the running back, Bell. And Bell is thrown out of bounds by Roby. As we take a look at today's good hands play, brought to you by Allstate, and it was an interception, Irving.
Yeah, Curtis Drummond to give Michigan State the ball. You can see the ball slip by him a little bit, but he was able to use the good hands to be able to secure it and get the Spartans the ball back. And that ball was thrown on a dart, and it was thrown very, very quickly for him to be able to close in on that and come up with a play.
Deion Sims, number 80, the big tight end, has been very quiet for Maxwell and the Spartans so far here today. He's on the right side of the formation. Play action, gets it off, incomplete. And the reason why it was incomplete is Nathan Williams was closing.
They were hoping that Nathan Williams would come back healthy. He's been battling a knee injury throughout last year and into the early part of this year, and he's a difference maker for this team. He's already made some plays. He has as much quickness as anybody that Ohio State has on the defensive line. They've been moving him around on 3rd down. He's also been playing some linebacker, but there's good quickness and good instincts for him to get in there quickly on Maxwell.
So here's your 3rd and 2, and Bell is the tailback. That is Sims on motion to the left side of the formation. They'll run in that direction behind Sims for a first down, but there's a penalty flag. Comes flying.
They got a chop block there by Michigan State.
It was a holding call, too. And that will negate the first down run here.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
Skylar Berkland is guilty. He's the right tackle.
Watched number 70 go low on Hankins. Oh, he grabbed him. I thought, looking at it, it may have been a chop block, but he got that right arm locked around his left knee and just brought him down.
So instead, it'll be 3rd and 12. It would have been a first down, but a very costly penalty. And now Maxwell will set this up on the gun with 3 wide receivers. Steps up. Fires. Mumphrey over there. Crowd wanted interference on the call. Let me check that. That was Benny Fowler was the target over there on that side. Johnson, and he's a physical defensive back. You watch Johnson go to work here.
And Corey Brown again up close, up tight on the line of scrimmage, trying to make Fowler work to that flag. Same exact route. Ball thrown pretty well, close to Fowler coming up with a chance. But you talked about it. Orion Johnson, a senior who's been around, seen a lot of football. Both times he's been able to get there and be able to separate the receiver from the football.
So after the interception, the Spartans can't move. They'll have to punt it back. And Jordan Hall, ooh, it's over his head. He's in a foot race on the hop at the 4. Trying to get back downfield, and he is finally out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. That's a 71-yard punt by Mike Sadler from Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was a beauty.
Insurance presents in this moment.
Welcome back to Spartan Stadium. Aflac. Time for the Aflac. Herbie, who has the most career victories among active Big Ten coaches?
Okay.
Most career wins.
At any level.
Any level. Obviously collegiate.
Yes, yes.
Golston is back on the field. What a good sign that is. Number 2. And there's the pitch to Hall for the Buckeyes. Max Bulla, fine middle linebacker. And now, looks like Hall was shaken up on that play, and they'll probably take him out.
Ohio State got him back in the lineup last week. And look at this. I mean, this is just a read by Braxton Miller, whether he wants to run or just get it out to Jordan Hall. He made a determination. He couldn't run the football, so he just flipped it out there. Almost, again, another option there for the quarterback. Good read and getting the ball out to Hall quickly.
Ball at the 25-yard line for Braxton and the Buckeyes. And they can't find much daylight in that run. And Kittredge in there defensively for Michigan State.
They are blitzing the linebackers on almost every snap. You're seeing Bulla. Look at that. As the ball is being snapped, he's running downhill. They're trying to beat Ohio State to the point of attack, not let Braxton Miller be the aggressor. Michigan State is trying to maintain their aggressive nature as a defense.
Carlos Hyde from Naples, Florida, replaced Jordan Hall. 2nd down and 8. Braxton is sacked at the 20-yard line by Chris Norman. Linebacker and a senior from Detroit rolls in.
See, this is the answer that you have to come up with. Here he comes on the blitz. Watch how he doesn't give up on the play. Hyde goes low, but Norman's a veteran guy. He's athletic, he's tough, doesn't give up on it. There was good coverage downfield. Braxton Miller had nowhere to go with the ball. He had Corey Brown open downfield, but he wasn't looking his way. But Norman does not give up on it. And again, Pat Narduzzi's answer to Braxton Miller, pin their ears back and bring those linebackers.
Jordan Hall back on the field. They'll need 14 yards on this pass. In trouble. Norman on him again, but Braxton slips it. And to Jordan Hall was short of the first down.
Guess who came in there and flushed him out of the pocket again? Norman. Norman again gets in there. Now watch Adams going, oh, you got a situation here. Adams realizes that Hall can't continue. Hall's just trying to do what he can to stay up. The ball's thrown low. We're going to have to keep a close eye on Jordan Hall. He's a difference maker for them, being in the lineup and not being in the lineup.
And it's possible That cost the Buckeyes a first down.
Absolutely.
Because he was short of it. And leaves him with a 4-yard situation on 4th down, so they'll punt it away with Ben Buchanan. And Hill will let this one roll down just across the 30-yard line. Well, Herbie, you want to take a crack at it?
I'm going to guess Jerry Kill.
All right.
Am I on
I'm
it?
proud of you.
I thought it had to be like
now, there's the schools: Minnesota, Northern Illinois, and Southern, Emporia State, Saginaw Valley, and there are the coaches in the Big Ten with the career wins. And Kirk Ferentz beat Jerry Kill today as Iowa was over Minnesota. Minnesota no longer unbeaten. Here we have Meyer and D'Antonio, and of course there's Brett Bielema.
That's why I asked about the different levels.
Yeah, it was a good question.
If you were going to count, I thought Jerry had to be up there.
Give you high marks for that. You're alert today, lad.
Well, you kind of gave me a hint when you said I wasn't aware of this one, so I knew it had to be a little bit of a trick question.
It was. Well, it was kind of fascinating. I saw the Big Ten release, and I thought, well, let's go with it. And it's Bell to the 34-yard line as we go to Robert Flores for a Sports Center right now.
That's right, Brent, and it's brought to you by HP. Much like your game, defensive struggle in Morgantown as West Virginia beat Baylor 70-63. Two teams combined for 1,500 total yards plus and 19 touchdowns. West Virginia, number 9 in the country, wins by 7. Their kicker had 10 points and didn't even attempt a field goal.
That is absolutely amazing as we watched them for a while, Herbie. It did look like a basketball game with a scoreboard. First down pass to the 45 and Fowler. And the one thing I see, and Herbie, let's go back to our meeting yesterday with the Michigan State coaches. On the board in the receivers room was written and underlined, drops are never accepted. And they have not dropped the football here today for Mark D'Antonio.
And this is coming from a team that has dropped the ball 18 times in the last 2 weeks. I love that they've not lost confidence in them. They're growing with them. And they have to be able to make the plays in order to be able to be successful.
Dan Rusher calling the plays. Maxwell, and that one was just a touch high. Fowler was on the curl that time, but I was impressed with Roby's coverage on him.
Well, he keeps getting the last 2 plays. He's given up the inside without any help. I mean, if the ball is thrown down low, Fowler has another big gain and another first down. The ball's high, but the last 2 plays, receivers that lined up there against Roby have given him just a little bit of a stem, a little shake to the outside, and then cut back to the inside, and they've had room to work.
And Bell has been held to 3 yards a carry. And now on 2nd down and 10. They'll toss to Bell, and he can't get the edge. And we'll check in down below with Heather.
Well, Brent, don't forget Michigan State driving the ball without their starting center, Travis Jackson. An update on him. He was up under his own power, carted off the field into the locker room with an injured right knee. They've taken him back there for x-rays and routine knee exams, but head athletic trainer Jeff Monroe told me that his return is doubtful. Ethan Ruland stays in there at center.
So now Ruland with his hands full against that front in a pretty obvious passing situation. Buckeyes licking their chops here on 3rd and 9. Maxwell, and that one should have been caught by Mumphrey, I believe, Herbie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you could see Bryant came in late and knocked the ball away, but it was already gone. I mean, he makes a big hit on Mumphrey, but this has been what's been hurting Michigan State. Ball's thrown on the money. You've got to secure that football right there. Get ready. You're going to get hit. That's just part of it. Bryant came in well after the ball was already through his hand.
That's a killer.
Yeah, that's a first down.
Because you've given the ball back to your opponent with 2.5 minutes to go in the half. You're down 7-3, and Devin Smith is back deep for the Buckeyes. Blocked. And so the Buckeyes roll in with Roby swallowing that punt. They didn't even need a return. And now you go back to that drop pass, and you see how just devastating that was to Michigan State as the Buckeyes come up with a blocked punt.
And the trademark of an Urban Meyer coach football team, whether it's Bowling Green or Utah or Florida, players work hard to get on this unit. He came from the outside, but it was a jailbreak. They were all coming. They pinned their ears back, and that is a great effort by the starting cornerback, Roby, to get to that punt and give Ohio State great field position.
Now Carlos Hyde will be your running back with Jordan Hall shaken up. Braxton Miller, of course, is probably your most dangerous runner for the Buckeyes. Option, he'll cut away. We almost had two defensive players crush each other, but Chris Norman, who suddenly is stepping up here.
Chris Norman, we knew coming in. In fact, we highlighted him today as one of our impact players. He's a big-time player. Guy played a lot of football last year. He's a blitzer. He's very aware of quarterbacks and trying to make big plays, often with using their feet. Athletic guy, a senior, 6'1", 233-pounder out of Detroit. In this first half, he's been all over the field.
So the 3-yard loss makes it a 2nd and 13 for the Buckeyes. Buller gives him an odd look. And Braxton's run down by Golston. He fumbles, and the Spartans come up with it. The second turnover by the Buckeyes here in the first half. Big Marcus Rush was involved in this, and Golston was coming from behind.
They made Braxton Miller indecisive on the option. Marcus Rush, the sophomore, does a really good job of not necessarily committing right away. Watch how he slow plays this, and it stretches the play to the sideline. See how long it takes to develop? Braxton finally runs out of room, and he decides to cut up underneath to pick up what he can. And not only does he stretch the play out, but Rush doesn't go out to the back. He cuts back underneath and eventually gets a hand on the football to knock it away.
Watch Urban react as Rashad White is going to come up with the fumble. First down and 10. That's the calmest I've ever seen Urban Meyer on a turnover. I have to tell you that, folks. Bell with the catch, and Bell has been a very active receiver. 8 catches here in this game so far for the Spartans.
They got a minute and a half, all 3 timeouts. Maxwell working with these young receivers who played for the most part pretty well here. Let's see if they can hold on to the ball.
He's going to go middle again, and Sims for the first time today. You knew they were eventually going to find the 6'5", 285-pounder.
Watch Maxwell's eyes. You see how he looks left, and then eventually he comes back to Sims. He knew all along he was going to find Sims, but he uses his eyes and his head to keep the safety where he wants him, and then makes the accurate throw to the big tight end.
The field is spread. Keeps it in the air, and I'll tell you, this young man throws a beautiful ball. Yep. Lippett was the intended receiver. Now, we'll take a look at this one on the outside. But I saw it up here that was another catchable ball. Now, I could be wrong because it's a long way away, but he fired it to that far sideline.
Seems like he's having most of his success in the interior, but you can see the arm strength. Ball's thrown out here to the outside. It's definitely another chance for these receivers to make a play on it.
Second down and 10. Maxwell back again, fires complete right in the middle of the field.
That's where they want to throw.
First down to 24, and Mumphrey. Let's see what the time is now, Herbie, and check the timeouts here.
You know, not only is that a strength for Michigan State, it's a weakness for Ohio State.
All 3, so there's no problem.
Plenty of time.
They've got 54 seconds. They got a strong leg in Conroy. And that's incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Coming up on the Cooper Tires halftime report, Robert Flores will be back with Jesse Palmer. They'll have all the day's highlights. If they show you the highlights of the Baylor-West Virginia game, they'll have time for nothing else.
Pack a sandwich.
Second down and 10. Maxwell throwing for 129 yards, and he should have more. Back again, pump fake. Steps up, got a wide open man, and that's a bad throw. Lippett was wide open. He had come free on the pump fake, and Maxwell put it up too high that time. That one's on the quarterback.
As much as we're seeing Braxton Miller kind of a work in progress, the same thing can be said about this passing game. You can see Ohio State's corner Travis Howard completely bails out on that pump fake, and Corey Brown's the only one left out there, but the ball just sailed over top of Lippett.
Third down and 10. And he has to throw it away. Was he Legal. There was a receiver right there, wasn't it? Bell was close to it.
Trying to set up a screen, flanker screen back to the left, but it didn't have any time to develop. The linemen eventually are going to try to get downfield, but you could see both the linebackers that time, nobody picked them up because they were so anxious to get out for the screen.
Now Mike Sadler, the punter, will be the holder here for Danny Conroy. This is a 42-yard attempt to pull Michigan State to within a point. The only touchdown in this game was scored on the Buckeyes' first drive. This one looks like it's off to the right. No good. He has now missed one in 5 straight games. .33 seconds left in the second quarter, when the Buckeyes will take over after the missed field goal at the 24-yard line. Braxton Miller will come out with Carlos Hyde as his running back, as Jordan Hall was hurt. And the injuries on both sides continue to mount here this afternoon. Hyde is thrown down by Allen. So a timeout is called. We'll take a break and then bring you back for the final 24 seconds of the first half. 27 seconds remaining in the first half. Second down and 9 for Ohio State. 3 receivers to the right side of Braxton Miller. And a juggling catch by Brown short of the 30-yard line, where it will be third down. And it's possible at this point that Urban will be content to take it on in with the lead at the intermission, and that's exactly what he's going to do. 7-3. Ohio State leading Michigan State, and let's check in with Heather Cox.
Coach, after scoring a touchdown on the opening drive, what's been the biggest issue keeping your offense a little out of sync the rest of the half?
Well, they're bringing a blitz every down, so we got to do a better job. Just recognize the blitz, block the blitz, and execute. So it's a blitz-a-thon right now, and in the second half, we got to come out and attack the blitz, not just take the blitz.
We saw Jordan Hall go into the locker room with him potentially not being available in the second half. How does that change your game plan? That
doesn't change our game plan. We are who we are, and we have a couple other good backs.
Urban, thank you.
So a reminder, folks, we've got a 7-3 score here, Ohio State leading. But stay tuned for the Cooper Tires halftime report with Robert Flores and Jesse Palmer after this.
Welcome back to Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
East Lansing, Michigan, a low-scoring affair here to start the Big Ten season between Michigan State and Ohio State. And all 10 of those points came on the first 2 offensive drives of the game. Buckeyes go for a touchdown. Michigan State settles for a field goal, and that's where we are right now starting the second half. Mr. Herbstreit.
I think what's happened is both defenses have taken away the strength of the other offense. In Michigan State's case, defensively, what they've done, you heard Urban Meyer tell Heather walking off, they're pressuring. We talked about it the whole first half. Chris Norman and these linebackers are being turned loose, and Ohio State has not had an answer with Norman lined up to the left. This time he's lined up to the right on the option play. You can see the kind of speed he has to be able to make plays in the open field. Ohio State's going to have to find some passing game to be able to try to throw the ball behind those linebackers. Jordan Hall had an injury in the first half. Doesn't look real promising that he may go here in the second half. Maybe Rod Smith will have to step in to help Braxton Miller out. And then for Michigan State, somebody besides Le'Veon Bell is going to, again, have to take some of the pressure off of this running game from Michigan State. They've tried to throw quite a bit in the first half. Of the 35 snaps, 26 were passes. They only had 9 rushing attempts in the first half.
Michigan State will handle the ball here to start the second half. And so for the Buckeyes, Drew Basil, their junior kicker, with the ball on the tee at the 35-yard line. 6-yard line is Hill. And he's shy of the 20. Down at the 18. Let us go down below to Heather Cox. Heather.
Brent, I was able to talk to Mark D'Antonio about how he assessed his offense in the first half, and he said we're obviously passing the ball a lot better. That was a point of emphasis all week, and we're getting there. He said there's a few I'd like to have back, but all in all, I like the balance we've achieved. We've also got to shore up the special teams. He said we're just one play away. Very confident and optimistic, Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, Heather, they were 13 of 26. Maxwell passing for 129 yards. They did not turn the ball over in the first half. The Buckeyes turned it over twice, but the Spartans could not take advantage of either turnover. So the Spartans will open here with a pair of tight ends. And I back Bell, and Bell runs right behind the middle of the offensive line, and there's nothing doing.
They're not getting a push with this offensive line. They're losing the battle up front, and the reason they have spread Ohio State out is because they've had more success. Look at Hankins just completely controlling the line of scrimmage. He took Chris McDonald and just threw him into the backfield, and once he did that, the play's over. The rest of the Buckeyes are able to come in there and help Hankins out, but Big Hank is controlling the line of scrimmage in the interior. Michigan State is much better off trying to spread those linebackers out, those safeties out, and trying to find some seams in the passing game.
So it is 2nd and 9. Bell behind the right side, and that leaves them in 3rd and long, and that's got some folks just shaking their head at the play calling here to start the second half.
Yeah, and they went the opposite way in the first half. This time Goebel does a really good job of fighting off of his block to be able to get over there and to get involved. You can see that Shazier also being able to be free from any lineman getting up to him. He comes off of McDonald's block. He's there to help out along with Sabino. The linebackers are free. The Michigan State offensive line, because they're losing the battle up front, they can't get up to Sabino or Shazier, freeing them up to get involved in the run game.
3rd down and 6 for Maxwell and the Spartans. Under pressure, incomplete, and there's a penalty flag as the Buckeyes closed in on the quarterback. The flags were thrown downfield at about the 32 and the 38-yard line. A pair of flags were both thrown.
Holding. Defense number 1. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And that's Bradley Roby, their sophomore corner from Georgia. So that kind of saves the Spartan bacon here.
It did, because the coverage for the most part was good. They brought a blitz. He just locks him up. I mean, he's beat. The receiver's going to go right by him, and he decides to take that chance and hope that an official doesn't see him. What he was thinking, isolated in man coverage, I have no idea, but he was beaten and beaten badly.
Now Thomas will come in as the fullback directly behind Maxwell. Bell tries to get the left edge, and he can't do it. Jammed up at the point of attack. Johnson again, who has been a fine defensive performer for Ohio State today.
And also you see John Simon working off of the tight end block. Really, really good job. He doesn't necessarily get the tackle, but he pushed that tight end. He set the edge for the defense. And the one thing that Ohio State talked about is Le'Veon Bell at 245 pounds. He's a downhill runner. They did not want to give him a chance to build up momentum and run into the Ohio State defense. And up to this point, they've been able to do a good job of getting penetration, not letting him run downhill.
2nd and 9. Maxwell, and under intense pressure again. And that was coming from Nathan Williams, and there was Hankins in there too.
I think the crowd saw Big Hank end up landing on top of Maxwell. I think they wanted a flag from the official. But the big fella at about 330 pounds, I don't think he could let up towards the end of the play. He's, of course, from the state of Michigan, played with William Golston on the other side in high school. The big fellow,
that's
a little push. Yeah,
that's a penalty. I am very surprised that John O'Neill didn't step in on that. You got to release your hands when the ball's gone and the quarterback's going down like that. That's a bad, bad non-call, and John's a very good referee. Fire wide open, got it complete to Benny Fowler. Fowler brought down across the 35-yard line, but the Spartans have got something going.
Orion Johnson right here, the safety, gets lost. He's kind of sitting back, just trying to read the quarterback's eyes and trying to make an evaluation of the route. But you can see how he stepped up on the crossing route, and as he spends time looking at the tight end, the receiver gets in behind him. It's poor coverage there on 3rd down and long, especially from a senior there. They've got to sit back there and recognize receiver coming into your area.
35-yard gain. Back to the middle they go, and that is Big Sims with a 14-yard line. Could not bring him down.
Michigan State shows screen over here, catches the Ohio State attention, and then you could see Sims being able to come out there just by the receivers to the right, just showing up, jumping up and down. It caught Ohio State's attention long enough that I don't know how the 285-pound tight end can slip behind you in coverage, but he did, but they're going to bring it back.
There's an ineligible receiver downfield on the play. And that will nullify the gain. And because of the damages being assessed, it'll bring the ball all the way back to the 38-yard line. So just when it appeared that the Spartans might be able to score 6, they're penalized, and the ball comes all the way back to the 38-yard line for a 1st and 15. Releasing out of the backfield is Bell. And Bell is brought down by Roby and Bryant. One of the things you notice, Herbie, about the Buckeye secondary, it's not just one white shirt that hits you. There have been 2 and even 3 when these receivers catch the ball. Help comes immediately.
And I think this week, especially preparing to stop number 24, they've been seeing 24 in their sleep, whether it's him catching the ball to the backfield or him running. They knew that they had to gang tackle to stop him to be able to have a chance of slowing him down. 2nd down and 10. Deep drop. Maxwell drops it off to Sims, incomplete. And this will bring up a 3rd down, and Sabino, the linebacker, makes a fine play. Etienne Sabino out of North Miami Beach. They have had success with that underneath route, but it's better against man coverage. It's like a scissors route where the tight end on one side comes from the right, he comes all the way to the left, the receiver to the left comes all the way to the right, just trying to kind of create a pick or a rub. It's good when it's man coverage. It's not as good when it's zone coverage. That time Ohio State just sat in zone coverage, and Maxwell didn't have anybody open.
You wonder, with the way the Spartan defense are playing, if this is 4 downs. This is 3rd down first, and fires incomplete, and one is dropped by Fowler on the hit. Benny Fowler can't hang on, and that's been the trouble with the receivers at Michigan State all season long.
Well, they went back to this route. They've thrown it. This is the 3rd time they've tried to get it in there. Fowler has the ball in there. Johnson makes up for the mistake he made earlier. This time he's able to separate him, but again, that ball may have been on its way out before Johnson came in to try to, again, knock the ball away.
So here comes a 50-yard attempt by Danny Conroy. Yes, he's made 50-yarders before. He's 2 of 2 in 50-yard plus, and this is a 51-yarder.
Deion Sims was late to come back onto the field. Michigan State ends up having to blow a timeout that they may need later in this 2nd half.
So when we come back, Conroy with a 51-yard attempt. Remember, he missed from 42 earlier. Dan Conroy is a senior from Wheaton, Illinois. Already graduated. He's kicked 50-yard field goals 4 times. Last one coming against Boise State on August 31st. A couple of years back, he was 4-4 against Illinois. He can't be perfect today, but he has made a 34-yarder and missed from 42. So here we come. Conroy looks like he's got the distance on this one. How about that? That is his 5th 50-yard career field goal here, and it pulls Sparty to within a point. And for an update, let us go 52 yards to Robert Flores in the studio. Robert?
Well, Brent, defense optional right now in Athens, Georgia. Tennessee has scored 20 unanswered points before Georgia just kicked a late field goal. This is Tyler Bray to Rajon Neal. Bulldogs kicked a field goal just before the half, and that's where we stand 30-30. Number 5 Georgia on the ropes. Right now on ESPN2, Clemson, without Sammy Watkins, leading Boston College 24-21. That one early third quarter.
Robert, a couple of stories there. Number one, I think we caught Georgia peeking ahead to South Carolina next week, and Tennessee has snuck up on them between the hedges. But number two, I think you said Sammy Watkins, and I thought he might not play today for Clemson because of a stomach virus. We'll see how that story unfolds. And that strong leg of Muma goes out of the end zone, and we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, and again we compare the two guys who came in as the focal points, Braxton Miller and Le'Veon Bell of the Spartans, Herbert.
And Braxton Miller close to 80% of the Ohio State production. Michigan State doing a good job of coming after him, and that opening drive, the only touchdown the Buckeyes were able to put up. Le'Veon Bell, a power back, only 28 yards rushing. He's only had 11 attempts running the football, has done more of his damage catching the ball today. 7 receptions for 49 yards.
Well, without Jordan Hall, who was shaken up, Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes spread the field for Braxton Miller. Carlos Hyde is on the field, and he's one who's split out right now. Braxton, after faking the run, fires to Brown, and that didn't fool anybody. Let's go down below to Heather.
Brent, you were just talking about running back Jordan Hall, who hurt his right knee in the first half. I just got confirmation from their head athletic trainer, Doug Calland. He will not return. They've added a brace to that right knee, but they said they are going to hold him out. This is a huge disappointment for Urban Meyer, who finally got his full complement of running backs back for this game. Look for his backups in his stead.
And the first look will be Carlos Hyde, who missed a couple of games. Braxton keeping this all the way. This ran simply to daylight and did not have much resistance and made it close to the 40-yard line as we look at Jordan Hall on that far side. That's a 14-yard run, Herbie.
And the loss of Jordan Hall is big. I mean, he's their most explosive back that they have. Carlos Hyde is coming back from an injury himself and doesn't look to be as explosive today. Ohio State's getting most of their damage done, and see Rachaad White there slow to get up for Michigan State. But with Hall down, Ohio State has been doing most of the damage, even with Braxton Miller, to the outside. It's like they're stretching Michigan State horizontally. That's why the Spartans have been able to pin their ears back and just bring pressure. Ohio State has not been able to be productive between the tackles. And if they want to be able to drive the ball against this Michigan State defense, whether it's Carlos Hyde or Rod Smith, the sophomore, somebody has to give them a presence with some inside running game to take some of the pressure off of their perimeter passing game and running game.
Rachaad White is a big loss. Plays on the nose for the Spartans. Braxton on a cutback, and Bullock came hard on that tackle. What a fine middle linebacker Max Bullock is as you watch him finish this play defensively.
Reynolds also, Brent, 60, does a good job of getting off of his block. You can see that Fragel's trying to make a play there. Bullock is coming in with the instincts and the speed to lower the boom. But if you're Michigan State, Pat Narduzzi, you're bringing the house. They did it in the first half, and without this passing game and without a running game into the teeth of their defense, they don't feel threatened at all to be able to stop blitzing.
Narduzzi sometimes goes down on the field, but he stayed upstairs today. Braxton, play action. Brown, first down to the 42-yard line, but there's a flag on the play. So hold on. It's thrown back at about the 38-yard line. Face mask.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense number 2. That penalty's declined, resulting in the play as a first down.
That's William Goldston who committed the violation that time, but it was still a big gain as they came across midfield. And now Braxton Miller and the Buckeyes are on the move.
Went after the soft coverage on the inside receiver. Michigan State way back, even though they brought pressure. Braxton Miller is able to locate the receiver.
No pressure on Braxton. Dances away now to the right side. And Bulla finally pushes him out of bounds.
It was a pretty good play by Bulla to be able to just get him to go out of bounds. I mean, he still has room to work. And this is what you have to always be careful of on the backside when you defend Braxton Miller. He starts back to the left, eventually comes all the way back to the right. Bulla's out there, even though Reynolds is there to help out. Braxton Miller in a second will go outside and cut back inside.
What was very interesting about Bulla, Herbie, he was aware of the cutback ability, and he froze for a step 2 before he pursued Miller to the sideline. Max Bulla, number 40, is a fine inside linebacker. And here's Brown on the outside, and he's short of the first down. And the tackle by Jones.
With Jordan Hall going down, Urban Meyer and Tom Herman, the offensive coordinator, they've got to be able to turn not just to Braxton Miller, but Devin Smith's got to make plays, and Corey Brown also. Those are the 2 playmakers they have when Hall is out.
3rd and 2, and the quarterback keeps it himself, and here he comes. He's got the first down for Ohio State across the 30-yard line. And Adams finally takes him out of bounds.
Really good block downfield here by the receiver. Corey Brown 10. Watch Carlos Hyde help out, get him to the edge there. Both the receivers, Evan Spencer helping out as well. Again, they continue to run wide. They're not having any success inside. They got to bounce it out to the outside.
Buckeyes trying to finish. Urban Meyer in his first Big Ten Conference game as Ohio State coach. There's Hyde, and Hyde, we will see more of 34 after that burst.
Well, there it is. They got a good double team on the left side here. Watch the blocks, the 78 and 74. Good double team. Nice job of controlling the line of scrimmage. First time the entire game we've seen an Ohio State running back take a handoff and go into the teeth of the Michigan State defense with room to work. And you can see Hyde, when he has a chance to pick up some momentum, he's got some quickness.
2nd down and 1. Miller keeps it, slips the first tackler, and makes it to the 11-yard line. Well, that's another first down, and the Buckeyes are threatening.
Things getting a little chippy here with some of these Michigan State defenders, and Braxton Miller after the tackle. They're there. It's tough. I mean, you're there to be able to try to make a play. It's one thing to be there. It's another to be able to try to secure the tackle.
Hyde out to the left, but he's just not too sure where he should be.
Urban Meyer correcting him.
Not a perfect snap. Braxton looking back across the field and throws it away. It was incomplete. Denard was the cornerback on that side for the Michigan State Spartans, and that will bring up a 2nd and 10. And so they take Hyde out, and they send in the fullback, Zach Boren, number 44. Give themselves a little more protection. Corey Lindsley out of Youngstown as the center. Pocket holes, but it's deflected. And Marcus Rush might have gotten to that ball. He's a fine defensive end, and he might have made that play.
Well, he held on to that football a long time down in this area. You get down inside the 15-yard line, you need to make quick decisions. And it was Rush lined up, coming back from the outside to the inside. Good instincts to be able to knock that down in the effort to try to come up with the interception. But when you're the quarterback, you get back there, you've got to make a quick decision and get rid of the football.
Ohio State wasn't quite sure about personnel, but Boren will stay on the field, and Hyde will not come in. And they're going to have to hurry here against the clock. Down to 1 second. Did they get a timeout? I think they did. Urban in the sideline get a timeout before they pick up a 5-yard penalty here with the clock running down. Well, Monday Night Football is on with the Bears and the Cowboys here. Mr. Herbstreit, Jake Cutler against Tony Romo. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that should be a good one Monday. Last Monday night's game kept us up until it was even after the game before we finally got the final word that Seattle had beaten the Green Bay Packers, and now this week we'll have the Bears and the Cowboys.
Out in Montana, though, what is that, about 10 o'clock?
Absolutely. We had time to go out afterwards.
But that call ended up getting the officials back out by Thursday night's game.
It did, indeed, didn't it? You know what I miss about the replacement refs? Now the pundits will start talking about the BCS again.
Gotta get back to that. Gotta find something.
3rd down and 10. Here we go.
Here's Jake Stoneburner, a guy that they like in this area who's not had a chance to get his hands on the ball.
Now let's see if they find Big Jake. Came back the inside. They're not going to get there. Brown to the 9-yard line.
This interesting call back into the boundary. They had a lot of space to work to the left. They throw the ball back into the boundary, and Bulla, who was lined up in his spot, a linebacker, just comes over, reads the throw, comes over, and easily makes the tackle on Corey Brown. Not a lot of room to work with back into the boundary.
Kenny Guyton, who was installed as the holder this week, will put it down for Basil. This is a 26-yarder. Pulled it to the left, but he made it. He slipped it through before it got really far left. Take another look at this, Herbie.
He definitely hooked it. That's another 5 yards back.
And it disappears into the East Lansing air. We may never know, folks.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Hyundai. Go online and show your loyalty to your school at HyundaiShowYourLoyalty.com. Fidelity Investments. Innovative ideas for serious investors. And Firestone. Reminding you that whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
And a little fly fishing here in Michigan.
I learned to do that this summer.
You were in Wyoming with the family?
Wyoming. Yeah, can you fly from
Come on up to Montana. Wish I had it. Trout streams out there. Come down to Bitterroot with
Do you have the form? You have the technique?
Yeah.
River runs through it?
I can hit any tree.
I want to get out there.
Can't beat it.
Talked glowingly about it for a long time.
So here we go. Basil with the ball on the tee. It's a 4-point game again after the Buckeye field goal. And that's Hill. 20 with a seam. Return to the 35-yard line. And a reminder that next up is the Monster Mile at Dover in NASCAR. Points leader Jimmy Johnson. He's right there again. Hot on the heels. Brad Keselowski and Tony Stewart.
Come on, that 48.
Dale
Come on,
Jr.
man.
There you got your 48 up on top now. Jimmy with the lead.
It's looking good, peeking it right, just the right time.
Yep, exactly. Herbie, there's your play selection.
It's incredible to think, but they knew coming in how tough it would be to just line up and simply run the ball, so they've tried to throw the ball to set up the run.
Now here's the Wildcat look. And Bell picks it up now for about 3-4 yards as he took the direct snap that time.
Well, Maxwell has thrown the ball 31 times, and at times when they've given him time, and here's Simon coming from the outside, he steps up into the pocket, finds a receiver right into Hankins, is closing in on him, but he finds him downfield for a big gain. But there have been other times when he's had time to throw, and we've seen this all year from Michigan State from their young receivers. The ball is through the arms of a receiver, and that's been another nemesis today for Michigan State's offense.
2nd down and 6 with that power eye. Play action. They're going to throw out of it this time to Sims, and they've got a 1st down.
See the
penalty flag is thrown at the 40-yard line.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 1. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Roby who committed that foul.
But Brent, even though Michigan State's not having a lot of success running the ball, watch how these linebackers and the defensive backs come up, and it makes it very easy for Sims to be able to slide in behind them. They haven't run the ball that well, and that's not even necessarily a great fake. But the linebackers and the safeties are so conscious of Le'Veon Bell and stopping him that they're instinctively coming up to stop the run. And with Sims back there with the best hands on this offense, they're finding up some seams back there.
From the 29-yard line, a play-action rollout pass. A beautiful move, and Mumphrey still going to the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan State. Well, a receiver finally stands up for the Spartans. And he's a sophomore from Vienna, Georgia. 29 yards for Keith Mumphrey on the catch and run.
Nice job of getting the ball out in front of Mumphrey. Watch this effort, Brent, by Mumphrey. 1 tackle, 2, 3. Ohio State's not tackling. They're just trying to strip the ball. Sabino, Howard, nobody's wrapping up. This has been a problem for Ohio State throughout the first 4 games of the season. But give Mumphrey a lot of credit for the effort to never give up on the play for that touchdown.
So with 4:49 to go, the Spartans take their first lead of the game here in the 3rd quarter.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
So we welcome you back to East Lansing, where the Spartans have taken their first lead of the afternoon. And the ball is on the tee for Kevin Muma, who will kick it off. Last time he just simply drove it on out of the end zone. And this time it will be returned by Smith. He shakes a tackler and returns to the 26-yard line. And another look at Mumphrey.
Mumphrey is in motion in the backfield, and I think he just gets lost from the Ohio State defense. He comes back here and then eventually goes back out into the flat, but it's the play action that I think confuses the Ohio State defense. They're flowing with play action this way, and now they're going to get outflanked to the outside. Good job by Maxwell being patient, puts the ball out in front of him, and again, it's a combination of tremendous effort by Mumphrey for a much maligned wide receiver group and just poor effort and tackling by the Ohio State secondary.
Well, Sabino was the linebacker who went in the wrong direction with the flow and then tried to rip the ball out in the end and couldn't bring him down. So it's 1st down and 10, and Braxton Miller is now chased out of the pocket, throws high and complete. Hyde is the receiver on that play who brought it down, and boy, he took a blow, didn't he, from Denard?
He took a big hit here with a late throw out into the flat. The ball is high. Been seeing Bell make some big catches as a running back lined up out at receiver. That time he went up to make a play. But this Michigan State defense, they will hit you. If you leave yourself in a position of being exposed, they're going to light you up.
Braxton with the lead play to Hyde, and Hyde is short of the 1st down. Lewis, who loses his helmet, and remember, under the new rule, that'll take him off the field for at least 1 play.
More experience from Lewis. He's going to bounce. This ball's to the inside. They're trying to get it up to the middle, but he has to bounce it outside. And Isaiah Lewis, the junior, who's kind of the star in the nickel, but also plays safety, comes up very, very nicely there in run support.
Williamson replaces him for at least 1 play.
Please reset the game clock to 3:42.
So they will tack on 9 seconds here in the 3rd quarter for this 3rd and 1 coming up for the Buckeyes. Ohio State scored a touchdown on their first possession of the game after after Braxton Miller had been knocked out of the game. They haven't reached the end zone since. This time, Braxton Miller reaches for a first down with Kittredge hanging onto him.
Miller now up to 18 carries for 98 yards on the game for Ohio State. 13 of 18 through the air. The trend continues for the Ohio State offense. They will go as far as Braxton Miller's production takes them.
On first down, Braxton looks to the sideline. Beautiful throw and a touchdown. Devin Smith. What a great pitch and catch that was for 63 yards. And the Buckeyes strike right back with the big play.
Great call on 1st and 10. Michigan State, one of the few times they did not blitz. And the inside safety that time, Isaiah Lewis, was occupied, so it left one-on-one coverage to the outside for Devin Smith, who's got some wheels, and he ran right by the corner for the touchdown.
And here's Drew Basil. Buckeyes back up by 4.
I mentioned Isaiah Lewis, who's isolated against Corey Brown. He's right here. And because he's occupied here, you get a one-on-one matchup out here to the outside. And this isn't necessarily a fancy route, but it's speed against experience. Devin Smith, who runs a 10-4 in the 100 out of Massillon, goes right by Johnny Adams, who's from Akron. These two guys played against each other, know each other very well from when they're in their younger days. And Devin Smith was looking forward to this matchup, and so was Johnny Adams. But he didn't jam him at the line of scrimmage and slow him down. And that throw gives you an idea of what Braxton Miller's capable of doing when he has time to set his feet and step into a throw.
So both teams this half have had a couple of possessions, and each has responded with a total of 10 points. Touchdown and a field goal, so things loosen up here.
What's going on here?
Wow.
What's going
Went to a
on?
defensive struggle and a football game broke out.
You and I have watched almost 7 quarters of football between the Notre Dame-Michigan State game and this one. There for a while, just to see a first down was a celebration.
Ball on the tee for Basil and the Buckeyes. Here comes Hill. Had a good return the last time. This time, too. At the 31-yard line. And for updaters, Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Brent, right now on ESPN2, Clemson taking on Boston College in a tight one. No Sammy Watkins, but they get a touchdown run here from Roderick McDowell, and they open a little bit of breathing room. They lead by 10, third quarter on the road. They lost last week to Florida State. Speaking of which, E.J. Manuel and the Seminoles going out of conference and on the road to take on South Florida. That game can be seen 6 Eastern on ESPN.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. And so Watkins did not play. And a nice job by
If Clemson ends up winning that game, that would be an impressive win after the emotional loss last week.
So the end around does not work. Nick Hill stayed on the field, and the Buckeyes were certainly ready for that.
Ryan Shazier, the linebacker from the right side. Watch him time this up perfectly. I mean, he knew exactly what was coming. Watch this right here at the end. Boom. Big hit. Shazier, the most experienced, most talented linebacker on the Ohio State roster, made a big play there to put Michigan State now in 2nd and long.
So Shazier and the defense is ready, fully expecting a pass from Maxwell, and he doesn't disappoint. In underneath. And that's the young man who struck a few moments ago, Keith Mumphrey.
Maxwell has been throwing the football. He's up to 34 attempts and over 200 yards. He's had a lot of success in the interior of the Ohio State defense, whether it's a crossing route or throwing it to Deion Sims. They've been trying to pick apart the nickelback, the linebackers underneath coverage of the Ohio State defense.
And if his receivers had hung on, he'd be close to 300 yards here today. Needs 6 now on this 3rd down. 3 wide. Mumphrey's to his right. Does not look in that direction. He's going the left all the way, and it is complete. At the 50-yard line, Lippett, the converted defensive back, picks up the 1st down of 15 yards.
Brent, he threw this ball so hard. He's so tired of these receivers dropping the ball. He tried to stick this one into his face mask. He threw it so hard. I don't think Lippett had much of a choice. He better hold on to that football. Great throw, and that time Lippett holds on to it. Just stick it between, just wedge it in there.
Exactly.
That's one way to make him catch it.
You can see that. There's an opening there. Go ahead. Play action again. Throwing on 1st down. Looking back to that far side. Deflected. Incomplete. Lippett, I believe, and it was deflected. It was deflected by Roby.
He's a little bit late, and he throws this one behind. He's fortunate that Roby wasn't there to be able to make the interception. Anytime you throw behind a receiver on an outcut like that, there's a chance you can get an interception. The ball went in the air, and then you can see the effort by Christian Bryant. He also almost came up with the interception. So Michigan State catches a break.
2nd down and 10 for Maxwell and the Spartans. Now here comes Bill looking for the edge on the left side, and Roby comes up on run support. And that's always good to see from a defensive back when he comes up and makes a tackle like that. Remember, he's returning from shoulder injury, missed last week for the Buckeyes.
Duran Grant ended up stepping up for him, a sophomore. Ohio State coach is pretty confident they have 3 corners that can go out and play at this level, but I think Roby, because of the experience that he gained a year ago, is a guy that Luke Fickell definitely has a lot of confidence in.
Luke Fickell, who was the head coach last year, was kept by Urban Meyer, and he is now the defensive coordinator. You saw Luke bending over, and Maxwell's going down. Sabino's got him, and he rips him down on that play. The one thing about Luke Fickell staying on as the defensive coordinator, he certainly knew the players very well, but what's interesting about Urban Meyer's decision, he always keeps the defensive coordinator when he takes a new job. He has done that every place he has been as a head coach. And we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. And Jermaine takes it deep, throws Miller, intercepted. The biggest win of Nick Saban's coaching career as Michigan State stuns #1 Ohio State.
I think that may have been John Cooper's most talented team, and a team all those years he had first-round draft choices, the team that had the best shot to maybe win a national title. You were there for that big shocker.
That was some football. Smith is back. It's an alley, and there's a penalty flag. A couple of them come flying.
Remember that goal line stand there late. Had, what, 4 chances, right?
Saban was without one of his defensive ends that day. Had been suspended or injured or something. There was some player missing, and the rest of that defensive line really stepped up. That was the one thing that
During the return, illegal block in the back by the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
All right, now we're talking about college football and talking about Saban. Tonight at 9:15, now coaching Alabama, hosting Ole Miss.
And even before that with Florida State, you and I had him in Tallahassee last week. We're going to find out about the maturity level. Big win, everybody telling them how great they are. South Florida lost to Ball State. They better show up ready to go. And Bama and Ole Miss, another chance for Nick Saban to take another step to having a great year.
So the Buckeyes with their first drive in the final quarter, leading at 17-13. And Braxton Miller, who's been very busy, shakes a would-be tackler, completes it to Brown, and Brown breaks 3 tackles. How about that? He should have been down in the hands of 2 green defenders, and instead he stays upright and picks up 24 yards on the pass.
Denekus Allen has him, and Denekus Allen's a great player, and he's down. This is one of those plays that's not going to show up when you read the paper, but that might have been Braxton Miller's best individual effort and play of this entire football game.
Early on the day now for Braxton. He's run for the 181 yards, but now he's at, I should say he's run for 98, but now he's up to 181 on passing the ball here today. So Braxton Miller having his going up on 300 yards of total offense here in this quarter.
You know, and he has only missed 5 passes. He's making better decisions with the football. You and I talked about it all week. We talked about it in this broadcast. Urban Meyer met with us on Thursday. This offense is evolving every single series that they have the football. They're learning more about where their strengths are, where their concerns are, and where they're growing. And people trying to take some of the pressure off of Braxton Miller.
2nd and 7. And that's Hyde for the first down. As we took a look at Urban Meyer, you can't help but wonder about Mark D'Antonio over here, the coach of Michigan State. Remember 10 years ago, he was Jim Tressel's defensive coordinator the last time Ohio State wins a national championship. D'Antonio and Urban have already locked horns over one recruit. And stay tuned, folks, because D'Antonio makes a living recruiting some of those outstanding football players down in Ohio. And Urban Meyer is determined to close the border as he has closed back in. Rod Smith has now checked in as the running back for the Buckeyes. Braxton cannot find his initial target on the scramble, and it is incomplete. Remember when Urban Meyer came to Ohio State and there were some verbal commitments out there, he went right after those recruits because it's not official until they sign that form and turn it in. One of the coaches upset was D'Antonio, another was Brett Bielema. But I have a great story to tell you about that. Lefty Driesell, who was a basketball coach at Maryland, a trainer came in and said, Coach, Ken Smith he committed to North Carolina. And Lefty said, young man, at least we know who the competition is. And that's how it is when you recruit.
That's recruiting, not just in the SEC, but everywhere.
Carlos Hyde is back in as the running back.
These runs by Hyde, the last couple times he's had the football, it's so important for, we talk about this offense evolving. They need the inside running game. They need that presence. With Jordan Hall out, they've got to find Hyde, who's back from injury. Well, there's Rod Smith, who checked in. Something to be able to make Michigan State respect that, because that will open up so many more faces in this offense, whether it's Braxton Miller running outside or the play-action pass game.
Here's your 3rd and 7. Crowd senses how big this is. Receiver Golston in a foot race, and Braxton runs for it. Fumble, but I believe it was down. Hang on. Drummond picked a loose ball up. The quarterback is injured, which might be the bigger story on that far side.
Right, that ball may have come out before he was
Instant
down.
replay will take a look at this.
Brent, we'll take another look, but it looked to me like that football may have come out on his way down. I think the crowd's now seeing it. This ball is out. It's still not down. Ball is out before the knee touches. Michigan State picked it up. You can see his reaction.
The crowd has seen the replay on the new $10 million replay board.
That's a fumble, and Michigan State picked it up quick enough to be able to be.
So under rule, the ball will be given to Michigan State right there.
Yeah.
Instant replay is taking a look at it. Braxton Miller is down, injured on the far sideline. What a devastating turn of events here for Ohio State. We'll be right back. We welcome you back, and the call has been reversed. It was a fumble by Braxton Miller on the 32. The knee appeared to be a little hyperextended over there on that far side. Drummond comes up with the recovery. So it is Michigan State football here with 12:14 to go, and it is 1st down and 10. And Bell battles for a couple.
Well, this is the 3rd turnover in this game for Ohio State, and Miller just efforting, trying to pick up as many yards as he can as he efforts and struggles to be able to pick up yards. The ball comes out clearly before his knee touches the ground. And Michigan State's Drummond picked it up right away, and that's what the officials saw. They made the right call. It's Michigan State's ball. Ohio State came into this game +5 in turnover margin. Today, they're -3.
Second down and 8 after that run by Bell. Maxwell has time, rifles it to Lippett. And that's a first down at the 47-yard line.
Again, when he is in sync with his receivers, he gets back, makes a quick read, uses his eyes to hold the safety, and then throws an absolute strike to Lippett. It's the second time in a row when he's gone to Lippett. He's put in a place where Lippett, you have no choice, my friend. You are going to hold on to this football. He hit him right in the chest, and Lippett secures the ball for the first down.
The Spartans have thrown for 249 yards. Maxwell is 20 of 37. And he has a 1st and 10 on his own 47. Play action on first down. Target is covered, scrambles to the right, and he'll hoof it out of bounds. No flag that I see over there. The crowd wanted one, and we'll check in down below with Heather on the injury situation.
Yeah, an update on Ohio State's quarterback Braxton Miller, who injured his left knee and left hip on that sideline play. They immediately did an ACL test on the sideline. That was negative. He's putting weight on it. Coach Myers checked in on him twice, and I just got the thumbs up from the training staff that Braxton Miller is good to return to action.
All right, Heather, that's very good news for Braxton and the team and all the entire Ohio State fan base.
That's the risk you take, though. When you have a quarterback that has his hands on the ball, accounts for 70% of your offense. There's that risk always. Every time he runs the ball that many times, you could have that injury.
2nd and 10 now, Herbie, and the Buckeyes are showing a little defensive pressure, but they still rush 4, deflected, incomplete. They made him just a little antsy back there in the pocket that time with the look they were showing up in that front.
Well, they brought the linebackers, and Shazier got through, and Bell picks him up, but because he picked him up, Nathan Williams was able to close in on him. He still was able to get rid of the ball, and Sims is capable. That's a tough catch. He's capable of making that catch, but what Ohio State's doing right now, because Sims has hurt them, is they're closing down a little bit more, squeezing their coverage, and trying to get into the face more on Deion Sims.
3rd down and 10, and the Spartans are only 4 of 12 against this Buckeye defense. Drops it off to Bell. Can Bell get the first down? Cannot. 4th and very short. Buckeye territory.
You got some momentum after the turnover.
He's looking.
You got momentum. You just got a turnover. Defense has been playing pretty well. They're going to go for it.
D'Antonio wanted to see, and when he saw how close it was, he said, let's get right after it.
Here's an interesting thing to remember. Only 30 rushing yards on the game today. They've lost the battle up front when they've had to run. Do they run even though they've struggled, or do they try to throw a play-action pass?
You would throw a play-action pass?
The way they're getting dominated up front.
You got it, my friend. Here they come. A dive incomplete. Ball hit the ground, but there is a penalty flag downfield. Hang on. The field judge has thrown the flag downfield.
It was against Lippett. It was on him. I mean, the Ohio State defender held Lippett going out for a pass.
Holding. Defense number 7.
So they come up with the play-action pass, and Howard, when he suddenly realizes that they're going to throw, he holds the wide receiver.
You didn't like the call?
Oh, I thought it was a great decision on your part.
Well, they can't run the ball up front. And even though Bell's 245 pounds, this is probably their best chance. Ohio State sold out on the blitz.
Maybe you were right.
It's not conventional, but
no,
probably the right call.
So made it good. They got the penalty, got the first down. Now they come right back with the big running back from Columbus, Ohio. And we have to tell you a story because Herbie has mentioned earlier that he would have dearly loved to go to Ohio State. Wasn't recruited, wasn't offered, I should say. They did talk to him about playing safety. But the young man always wanted to be a running back. And his high school coach had talked to, we see an injured player down there. Is that Big Hankins? Yeah, it is. Well, we'll come back and finish that story. Right now, let's go for an update. Here's Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Brett, one of the great names in all of college football. Cincinnati quarterback Munchie Legault hooking up with Kimbrel Tompkins as Cincinnati leading Virginia Tech at home 13-10 early fourth quarter.
There's Munchie. There's your man. You picked Munchie.
I picked the Cincinnati Bearcats today. I did.
Well, there's Big Hankins is up. But let me go back to the young man in Luke Fickle, who is a very good friend of Mark D'Antonio. D'Antonio had suspended a bunch of players, including some running backs, going into a bowl. He was desperate to recruit a running back. And Luke said, look, we're not going to recruit this young man as a running back. He's down at Columbus. But he just might be able to help you. And that's what led D'Antonio and Michigan State to go down and take a look. And the high school coach gave him very high marks. And here's Bell.
And at that point, he really only had MAC offers. And when he looked at having a chance to come up and play for Michigan State where they feature the running back, he jumped at it. And he uses that motivation. Being overlooked in high school is still his motivation today.
Yeah, you talked to the young man about that. And it's been going like that. About 3 guys hitting him on every play.
Well, if he's going to have success, he's got to be able to get through that first level of defense. And he's just not been able to do that today. So they've had to find other ways to get his hands on the football. But I think all of us, when we got done visiting with him, he had a good look in his eye. You know, he one of those guys that it's very easy to pull for him. He's just a quality young man. Even with all the accolades and all the compliments he has received this year, he still goes back to being an overlooked high school recruit as what motivates him to get ready.
Big number 52 is back on the field.
Here he is again, Brett.
And there you can see they set that to start the game, and now they are motioning him out of it. Maxwell is back, 3rd and 3. He's covered, can't find him downfield. Maxwell's not going to run for it either. Buckeyes defended that play, and Williams takes the quarterback down.
That's a big-time play by Nathan Williams because we circled Bell, and when he went in motion, he's right here. Williams has to make a decision. Do I stay on Bell or do I close down on the quarterback? He left Bell, who nobody else was there. If Maxwell would have been able to see that, he could have dumped it to him, but Nathan Williams gave up on Bell. Maxwell wasn't looking, and there's an indication of what kind of quickness and speed Nathan Williams has. He's getting healthier and healthier for the Ohio State defense.
One thing about Michigan State, you've always got to be concerned about a fake field goal. Now, this will be a 48-yarder. They're down by 4, but they're 7:14 to go. They're going to attempt this one. Conroy looks like he's got the distance, and it's a 1-point game. Well, it'll be Braxton Miller and the Buckeyes' turn when you come back.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Cadillac, the standard of the world. And the Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway. Learn more at drpepper.com.
You know, when I'm in Columbus and I don't have a barbecue, I just go on over to that Easy Living Deli and El Bloody out of KFC to get one of those good corned beef that he makes. So, you know, he sent sandwiches with the team. Yeah, when they came over the airplane, those were all Vladdy's. You know, he's a former kicker for Ohio State, and
got a great sandwich shop.
Oh yeah, he works so hard. Every time you're over there, you find Vladdy, and great friend of the kickers. That's out of bounds, and that's a penalty. And there's a penalty flag.
Free kick out of bounds.
Braxton Miller's coming back into the huddle for Ohio State. That replay that we played over and over to show whether or not it was a fumble or not. One thing that I think you and I, and I'm sure a lot of Ohio State fans as they're watching, thought, I know he fumbled, but how is his knee? How's he going to be? But he's back in there, and see how he can perform here. These final 7 minutes, it's game on. 1-point game. Every possession matters. Every play matters for both these teams.
It's been a tough, hard-hitting Big Ten opener. Players down on both sides. Braxton dancing. Yeah, Spartans brought down. I see that White has come back in. That's Bulla making another stop as we take a look at what Braxton's done all day.
He's been running the football for Ohio State. He has 20 carries, 115 yards, and when he got one-on-one opportunity outside, he shows that he can throw the football with Devin Smith for the touchdown. And last time the Buckeyes had the ball came out for their third turnover, and Michigan State was able to capitalize with that field goal to pull within one.
2nd and 7. Carlos Hyde behind him. Jordan Hall's been sidelined here in the second half. Nothing doing for Brown. And Drummond, who recovered that fumble a short time ago, which led to the field goal, makes the stop.
Great play here by Drummond, another Ohio recruit for Mark D'Antonio. He got away from Evan Spencer. And not only that, not only does he fight off of the block, but he makes the play out in space. That's a big-time play by the safety.
Here's your 3rd and 8. Bringing the crowd into it as loud as they've been all day.
Got one-on-one across the board there.
Braxton throws incomplete. And a great move that time by Isaiah Lewis, the safety, the junior from Indianapolis. And what timing on this play by Isaiah.
Well, Pat Narduzzi shows man-to-man, pre-snap read, and then jumps to a zone pressure look where they blitz the linebackers but sit back in zone coverage. Lewis just read the eyes. The ball was thrown late, gave Lewis plenty of time to come over and knock that ball away. I think Braxton was a bit confused with that late movement after the snap by Michigan State secondary.
Ben Buchanan is the punter. That's Boren, one of the bodyguards, along with Williams, and Hill is back deep for the Spartans. Fair catch is the signal at the 21-yard line. A one-point game. Spartans will have the football as you're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. We welcome you back to East Lansing, and we're going to take a look at the Pacific Life game summary as we compare the quarterbacks here, Herbie. And Andrew Maxwell has not turned it over yet today.
No, he's not. He's made good decisions. He's had a bunch of drops to have to deal with, or his numbers would be even better. But I don't think I've ever or you've ever questioned his ability to throw the football. I think it's just been a process of the receivers holding on to the ball and this offense continuing to grow. And they put the game in his hands today. They haven't been able to run.
5.5 minutes to go. Down a point. Comes in underneath with that first down pass to Lippett. And Lippett has become one of his go-to guys. Remember, he's a converted defensive back. He's out of the Detroit area. And he's only a sophomore. Number 14, 6'3", and 190.
That's the area. Again, they've had most of their success matching up receivers, tight ends, H-backs up against those linebackers in coverage. It's been an area of concern for Ohio State all year, and Maxwell's had some success today going after it.
Short drop, 3-step, and oh boy. That was Howard coming right after that one. And let's head to Robert Flores for SportsCenter right now.
That's right, Brandon. It's brought to you by HP. Defense continues to be, well, a challenge for both Georgia and Tennessee. Aaron Murray, present. To Michael Bennett, Bulldogs on top of Tennessee. And right now on ESPN, number 4, Florida State just got a touchdown run from Rashad Green. They are leading South Florida on the road 7-3. Grant.
And the handoff is to Le'Veon Bell.
It's been that kind of day for Bell throughout most of this game. Their offensive line not doing a good job of sustaining blocks, losing the battle up front. He just has not had a lot of room to work with. His longest run today is 8 yards. 12 of his 16 runs have been for 3 yards or less. Ohio State has taken that part away, and Michigan State's been forced to be able to turn to Maxwell and these receivers to try to move the ball, and they've been able to answer the call for him.
Sims is out to the left as one of the 4 wides on this obvious passing third down here for the Spartans. Hit on the release. Incomplete, and Sabino all over the quarterback.
We've talked so much about Michigan State bringing pressure. Sabino finally, he's just kind of waiting. He's eyeing and keying Le'Veon Bell because Bell's caught the ball out of the backfield 8 times. So he's initially watching him. When Bell decided he's going to stay in to pick up and help out in pass protection, that's when Sabino turned it loose, and good coverage downfield forced Maxwell to hold on to the football, and Sabino was able to close in.
Sadler punting, and Devin Smith is back deep. And remember, Devin Smith had the long touchdown catch and run for the Buckeyes. He signals for the fair catch at the 18-yard line. 4:10 to go. Buckeyes will be working away at that clock. It's a 1-point lead. Come on, man. Monday Night Countdown.
I love that.
The guys do too at 6:30. Then at 8:30, it'll be the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. Monday Night Football on ESPN. Here it's first down and 10. Buckeyes with a 1-point lead. Handing off to Hyde, who powers behind the offensive line. And Herbie, this is what Urban said to you before the game.
I came down to wish him, hey, good luck, first Big Ten game. This is what he did to me. I thought he was doing a Cam Newton sign, but he's saying open your heart. Open your heart to this kind of competition. He challenges his team there before they go out for this huge drive now, under 4 minutes to go in this game, up by 1.
Second down and 4. Always competing. Won a couple of national championships down in Florida. Took a year off. Broadcast with us. Did a fine job. Now he's back coaching the Buckeyes and trying to hang on. Not going to be easy. Got the first down though on a tough run by Hyde, who's come off that injury list, and the time goes down to 3:26.
Reed Fragel, the right tackle, does a really good job of sustaining his block on William Golston. He locks him up there a little bit, gets the block, puts him down, and gives Carlos Hyde enough room to pick up those yards. Every yard valuable. That time Reed Fragel was isolated with the All-American William Golston and won that battle.
Again, his daddy, Tom Izzo's roommate, Northern Michigan. His grandpa was the Rossford, Ohio high school coach. So Fragel comes with a good football background. Here's Miller bursting for the first down, and the Buckeyes have got the clock inside of 3 minutes, and they're moving.
That's a power play or a zone play that the quarterback runs. I mean, he's just running this. He's going to follow the left side. Look at how open this is. He follows Carlos Hyde. And Braxton Miller's almost lulled Michigan State's defense to sleep the last couple drives. And this time when he needs it, he's able to pick up huge yards.
Reynolds, and it may be an injured shoulder. One of the big fellas for the Spartans shaken up, and he'll come off to the sideline. Starting to become a battle of attrition. No doubt about who's in charge over there on the Buckeye sideline.
Especially with 2:55 to go in a 1-point game.
He knows that Conroy with a strong leg on the other side, capable of a 50-yarder.
Michigan State
Antonio trying to get the ball back. Has got to stop him here on first down if he can.
They're capable of making a play on any snap to create a turnover. They have 3 turnovers they've created already today.
Bulla's the ringleader, number 40 there in the middle, a linebacker, checking with the sideline to see exactly what they wanted done. Bulla, he's picked up. Miller keeps it. And we go to an update. Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Brent, AT&T All-America Player of the Week nominee, and it's West Virginia quarterback Geno Smith. All he did was throw for 8 touchdowns, a school record 656 yards as West Virginia outlasted Baylor 70-63. You can text VOTE to 34763. 8 touchdown passes for Geno, Brent. You guys have 3 combined touchdowns today.
It's Big Ten football. I mean, what do you want?
Put us down because we're not having all those touchdowns. And right now, Ohio State's not thinking about touchdown. They're thinking about killing that clock and getting first down.
They're thinking about securing the football, putting the ball into the hands of Braxton Miller, and let him do his thing. And see, Michigan State has one timeout now with 2:10 to go. Ohio State's thinking about picking up another first down and see what happens from there. But it's about protecting the ball and keeping the hand.
They've been so efficient on first down on this drive here. Now they've got a 2nd and 4 that they come to. All right, there comes your 3rd and 4 now as the Spartan defense sort of rose to that occasion.
Dino calls his last timeout.
Because you know Urban Meyer is not going for it on 4th down. Not here. Not with a 1-point lead and Conroy on the other sideline. He's got to pick up this first down. I want to take you through Urban Meyer's coaching career, and then we'll talk about where he was at GA. Bowling Green was his first as a head coach. He went out to Utah, and that's where I first met him. Came down to the Fiesta Bowl and beat up on a Pittsburgh team with a quarterback by the name of Alex Smith. Then he went on to Florida with a quarterback by the name of Tim Tebow. Won a couple of BCS championships. But now I want to take you back to days of old. Mrs. Meyer, that is your husband when he was a graduate assistant at Ohio State. And guess who was a player on that Buckeye team? None other than Mr. Herbstreit.
I would come up as a high school recruit, and Tom Lichtenberg was the Ohio State quarterback coach, and he was his GA, and he would be assigned to me and kind of be hanging out with me throughout the entire game I was at or my official visit. Known him for a long time.
Here we go. Every 3rd down and 4. Game on the line. Hyde's got it. Carlos Hyde, a junior from Naples, Florida. 230 pounds, picks up a huge first down.
Watch Reed Fragel again. Gets a great block to seal it to the inside. Kittredge, the defensive tackle, was trying to just do everything he could to fight off the strength of Reed Fragel. Reed Fragel's a former tight end who has moved to tackle. Coaches raved about him last week. And on this drive, he's really set the tone for the right side of the offensive line.
He has been one of your Buckeye stars from Grosse Pointe, Michigan. And again was headed to Ann Arbor, but the Wolverines with Lloyd Carr leaving. And then Tressel closed the door on the recruitment, and there's your penalty flag at the 129 mark. So nothing's coming easy for Urban Meyer in his first Big Ten game, but he's closing in now on his first win.
Ball start. Offense number 79. 5 yards, repeat first down.
Brent, I've been around Urban Meyer a long time, as we just showed that picture of him as a GA. I remember him even as a receiver coach for Earl Bruce at Colorado State and at Notre Dame as an assistant. And I don't know if I've ever seen a look in his eye in a pregame like I saw today. And I always go down to the field, talk to both coaches, talked about last-minute adjustments. He had a look in his eye like he was looking right through my eyes to the back of my skull, talking about what this game meant to him and to his team after 4 kind of sluggish performances in Columbus.
You know, the people don't realize that he was a minor league baseball player before he went and played football in Cincinnati. Right. And he remains a huge fan of the Cincinnati Reds. And Pete Rose and Urban have been good friends. And part of his memorabilia in the office, he has one of the pieces that I've always wanted to see from my friend Pete, where he said, "I'm sorry, I bet on baseball, the hit king, Pete Rose." And Urban Meyer has one.
He has that. I've never seen that.
I had neither
thousands of Pete Rose signatures. But I've never seen the one where he says, "I'm sorry, I bet on baseball."
So the Buckeyes are going to stay unbeaten, but it didn't come easy here.
No. Michigan State played well. You can see it's a team that can't go to the postseason. They're not going to go to the Big Ten championship game. They've got to find ways to get motivated every single week to try to get ready to go. And for Michigan State and Mark D'Antonio, it's a step back. but still, their goal of trying to get to Indianapolis and get to that Big Ten championship game, even though it's going to take some work, they can still get there.
But what they can talk about is this is not in the Legends division. Remember, Michigan State is not playing the same division as Ohio State.
They're big battles against Michigan and Nebraska down the road.
All the M's, N's, and I's.
Thank you.
In the Legends.
Thanks for helping me with that.
So there you have it. Urban Meyer wins his first Big Ten game. He'll come across the way. And Williams gave him a little bit of a... It was in the heart,
Rip it open. Rip it open.
There you go. Braxton Miller, what a warrior he was today. Knee injury and all carried on, and now looking for Coach D'Antonio if he can find him. And there they are. Not a lengthy conversation, I wouldn't say. And now they will go on and continue the recruiting wars between them. And that's just how it is when you're fierce competitors like these two and excellent coaches. And Urban's down below with Heather Cox. Let's go to Heather.
Urban, congratulations on your win. Your first win as a Big Ten head coach. How do you measure the significance of it?
Big win. Some gutsy effort against a hell of a football team here in MSU. And that was a good Big Ten football game.
Coach, with about 3 minutes left in the game, you huddled up your team. What did you tell them?
That's between us and our team. It's we got a good thing going right here. I love these guys, and I love the way they played today. That was a gutsy effort today.
How did you guys really slow down and contain Le'Veon Bell?
Well, we tackled. You know, we had one awful play. We didn't tackle very well, but we tackled. That was a good effort today. Thanks.
Coach, thanks.
Heather, thank you very much. And Herbie, Michigan State with no first downs rushing today. Your final thought?
Well, Ohio State came in with their goal of stopping Le'Veon Bell and making Michigan State throw the ball, and they were able to do that. Great performance by Ohio State's defense.
Back to Heather.
Braxton, you just had some words with Coach Meyer. What did you guys say to one another?
Man, we went on a raggedy game, man. You know, it was just making a lot of mistakes, but we pulled through to it. You know, defense hold it down.
You had the game ball in your hands, just dropped it to the ground. I'll make sure nobody takes it, but what does it mean to you to have this game ball?
You know, man, it's got to win, man. That's all that matters. You know, it's everybody be happy. We fought hard to the end. You know, it was a little bit sloppy, so we fought through it.
We saw you go down with what appeared to be a left hip and left knee injury. How are you feeling?
You know, it's a little bit sore right now, but I'm going to fight through it, though, you know.
Congrats on the win. Go enjoy it.
Thanks, Heather. And this is a wonderful scene here. It was certainly a courageous performance by Braxton Miller, but I think you can see now this is a conference opener, and this is just about as much joy as I've ever seen from a coach and a football team.
But I think it's
on an opener.
Yeah, it's realistic goals. They have an interesting situation here where if they run the table, they're not a factor. This has got to be a group that's united. They have to stand together. This year is the foundation of the future of Ohio State under Urban Meyer. What they do this year will be remembered for a long time. If I'm a senior, if I'm John Simon or Jake Stoneburner or any of the seniors, I want to leave my legacy behind of doing things, even when we couldn't go to the postseason, still making this year special.
Well, Herbie, there it is. Again, our final score. The Buckeyes hung on 17-60. Next week, you can find us on ESPN College Football Prime Time. SEC matchup. Georgia will travel to Columbia and take on South Carolina. Folks, that's 7 p.m. next Saturday. Thanks for watching ESPN College Football on ABC. ESPN, the home of the Discover BCS National Championship game. Now we take you to the studio. College football postgame. Here's Robert Flores.